Well, good evening and welcome to Texas National Bank Field at Bobby Lackey Stadium. Tonight, KWES bringing you the 32-5A District Track and Field Championship. We've already had a lot happen in the last few days. We've had the field events. We've had the 3,200-meter run. We'll be giving you the results for those events throughout the course of the broadcast tonight. But tonight, we are going to start the track and field event. The track events, beginning with the 4x100 meter relay. The blocks are already on the track, and we're just moments away from getting started. I am Joe Aguilar, joined by none other than Mike Gonzalez, and we'll bring you all the action from this district championship track meet tonight.
Great to be here, Joe. This month, we were here covering the Jimmy Platt event. That was so exciting, especially the finish. We had so many fantastic events, runners that did very, very well. A lot of them are going to participate tonight. I see a few trophies down there at the 45-yard line. Two proud programs are going to go home with them, one on the boys' side, one on the girls' side. Trophies are going to be added to their cases, and a lot of athletes are going to go home with medals. The top four in each event will move on to the area round. I'm excited.
As am I. And we're going to get things started, as I mentioned just a little while ago, with the 4x100 meter relay. And we'll give you the lane assignments. They will be in lane 1, the girls from Brownsville Porter. Lane 2, Brownsville Lopez. Lane 3, Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Lane 4, Ed Chelsea. Lane 5, Mercedes. Lane 6, Donna. Lane 7, Weslaco East. Lane 8, Brownsville Pace. Best time coming into tonight's competition is the girls from Ed Chelsea with a time of 50.24, followed by Mercedes 51.6.
And as a matter of fact, Joel, I was before the event, I was talking to Coach Victor Cardenas out of Ed Chelsea, and he tells me that 50.24 is number one in the Rio Grande Valley this year. So they have an outstanding program there. They have for over the years. They're actually the defending district champions, so they're looking to repeat, and bring home that district championship trophy.
Well, we'll give you some of those events and the tallies as we go throughout the evening. So let's go ahead and give you the individual competitors. And for Brownsville Porter, Victoria Ruiz, Ariana Hernandez, Sofia Morado, and Yatsari Sosa. Brownsville Lopez, Sarah de la Cerda, Nereida de Santiago, De'era Howard, and Cassandra Aguirre. Memorial veterans from Brownsville: Madison Brock, Alondra Calzada, Lauren Cavazos, Madison Salazar, Ed Chelsea, as you just talked about, Mike. They'll bring Robin Perez, Cristina Hernandez, Alexis Ramirez, and Haley Guzman. And Mercedes, they have Angelina Perales, Katie Flores, Serena Limas, and Jamie Flores, who's already been very highly decorated tonight with the field events. And they are set. And the gun has sounded, and that is a clean start for the 4x100 meter relay. And you can tell in the middle of your screen, the Mercedes girls have already made up the stagger, as has Ed Chelsea. So Ed Chelsea and Mercedes right now were the first two to get the baton, and Ed Chelsea has already surpassed Mercedes. And here comes the third exchange, and the first one to get a clean exchange were the girls from Ed Chelsea. And Ed Chelsea has begun to separate themselves from the pack. The third leg for Ed Chelsea, Alexis Ramirez, she'll give it to Haley Guzman, and that's a clean exchange, and Haley Guzman has clean sailing all the way to the finish line, as she has got about a 12-meter lead, followed by Mercedes, and Mercedes being anchored by Jamie Flores, and she cannot get her, so it's going to be Ed Chelsea and Mercedes in the 4x100 meter relay girls division.
And it looked like in third place was Brownsville Lopez, who made a last push there in the last 50 meters or so. The young lady did a wonderful job. I believe she was standing in lane 2. That would be Cassandra Aguirre, who got the baton and just ran through and surpassed about 2 or 3 runners there. So a nice finish for Brownsville Lopez. But as you mentioned, Ed Chelsea, especially after that third exchange, it was you called it, Joe. It was a nice, clean exchange, and she just took off, and they just took care of the rest. They actually entered this race, Joe, already with 81 points after the field events in a 3,200 meter run.
We did have a flag. I don't know if you heard that, Mike, but there was a red flag thrown, so somebody went beyond their exchange limit, so we'll wait to see. But for what happened there. But before we get that, let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments for the boys as they are next. In lane 1, it's Brownsville Lopez. Lane 2, Brownsville Pace. Lane 3, Donna High. Lane 4, Mercedes. Lane 5, Weslaco East. Lane 6, Edcal Chelsea. Lane 7, Porter. Lane 8, Veterans Memorial of Brownsville. Mercedes coming in with the best time, 43.79, and they'll have Austin Davila, Luis Piñon, Javier Sanchez, Tyrell Trevino. The second best time comes from Weslaco East, 44.25. Gael Romo, Ashton Guajardo, Joe Lugo, and Jesse James Garcia will be anchoring for the Weslaco East Wildcats. And the third best time comes from the boys from Donna, 44.4. Marcus Mata, Brian Juarez, Caleb Harrison, and Luis Silva.
Are we ready?
The Tigers come in as the defending champs on the boys' side here, looking to repeat. And as you mentioned, Joe, they come in with the fastest time. Austin Davila and I think it's Tyrell Trevino, I beg your pardon. Those are the two of the fastest runners on that team to keep an eye on. And Weslaco East, I had a chance to talk to. And he tells me that they're looking forward to this meet because, as we mentioned in the Jimmy Platt, this was like a rebuilding year for them. But he loves the progress, and he was very happy with the Jimmy Platt meet. And he feels like they're ready for this challenge. And most of the group are sophomores. It's a sophomore-heavy group. And for some of these runners that are going to participate, it's going to be their first meet of the season, jumping up from the JV to the varsity.
Yeah, you talked about the Mercedes squad, and they got some really fast gentlemen on that team. But let's not look past Weslaco East. Gael Romo put up a 10-8 the other night. So this is going to be a very good race, and I'm looking for Weslaco East and Mercedes to go neck and neck in this one. So let's get ready because the gun is up. The gentlemen are in their blocks, and we are just seconds away from getting this one started. Gun is sounded. It's a clean start. And they are off. And look at Romo make up the ground on the guys in lane 6 is Edcal Chelsea. And they got way too close for that exchange. That is never a good thing. But look at Mercedes. Second leg for Mercedes is going to be Luis Piñon. And he made up a lot of ground. And he's going to hand it off to Javier Sanchez. He'll finish it off with Terrell Trevino. Mercedes looks like they are in front. It's Mercedes, Donna, Weslaco East. So here's Mercedes, Terrell Trevino, and the gentleman from Donna, and that is Luis Silva, Trevino, and Silva. And it looks like Trevino is going to get him by a neck. So that was a very good race. Weslaco East had a difficult exchange from 1 and 2. Gael Romo just got way too close, got right on the heels of Ashton Guajardo, and that was a difference maker for them.
Hey, but you know what, Joe? It looked like they finished third overall, so they'll advance to the area round. But we see a replay here of the exchange. But just Mercedes and Donna dominating the last 100 meters or so, and it just came down to those last two young men, Tyrell Trevino and Luis Silva out of Donna. And just look at them go. Just look at the way they're moving their feet and their arms and just giving it their all. And, oh, my God, what a race this was. They both put their head down, but it looks like Mercedes
got the neck out there.
Just by a neck or a nose or something, barely beat out Donna.
Yeah, and Weslaco East did a really good job to get back in it. I said earlier, they do have the speed. And I was really looking forward to a Mercedes Weslaco East just showdown, because as I mentioned, Romo, that young man, he put in a 10-8 the other day, and if you saw that first leg, he really caught up to Donna, but that exchange just wasn't there.
And it's just, again, I think it's the experience factor there.
Yeah.
For a lot of these, it's their first time competing in a district meet at this level. As we mentioned, they're underclassmen, and those are just some of the things that they'll correct moving forward. But who knows? I mean, if they would have had a cleaner exchange after that first one, might have been a little bit closer there. But, I tell you what, I think if you're Coach Owens, you're still happy.
Yes.
Because last year, he was telling me I think they got like 60 points overall in the district meet. And I think coming into today, they were already at like 40-some points, he was telling me. So they're on track to surpass what they already have last year, and they're going to have runners move on to the area round.
Yes, that is for sure. They're going to have a really good showing at the area round. So, Mike, I know they're about to hand off the hardware for the relay, the girls 4x1, and have they handed you the results for that already?
Yes, I got the results for that. In fourth place was Donna High School. Third place was Brownsville Lopez. Second place was Mercedes. In first place with a time of 50.73 was Ed Couch Elsa. And you mentioned about the red flag. I want to say that was Brownsville Porter. Something must have happened. Look, I see a DQ there, so I think they were disqualified from the race.
Yeah, I heard the public address announcer make that announcement, and so I was just waiting to see what happened. So as they announce them on the field, you already know who won what, and of course the times as well. Let's go ahead and give you a rundown of the girls' 800-meter run, which is going to be next. We're going to have out of Veterans Memorial Brownsville, Naya Gracia. Out of Dana, Liliana Acuna. Out of Weslaco East, Natalie Basan. Ed Cauchelsa, Sofia Ramos. Weslaco East, Stephanie Mendoza. Rebecca Davila of Ed Cauchelsa. Summer Ramirez of Dana. Marely Cuellar of Weslaco East. Stephanie Cano of Mercedes, Juliana Rossetier of Brownsville Pace, Erica Ochoa from Mercedes, Zaylet Landeros of Porter, Eileen Campos of Dana, Sofia Torres of Mercedes, Jennifer Jurado of Veterans Memorial Brownsville, Julie Callahan out of Ed Cauchelsa, Darila Munoz out of Veterans Memorial, and Andrea Sanchez from Brownsville Lopez. Naya Gracia, Veterans Memorial, comes in with the best time at 2:21, followed by Liliana Acuna of Dana, 2:31, and Natalie Basan, Weslaco East, 2:33. Those are the best times so far this year in the 800-meter run girls division, and they'll be lining up in just a few moments. And while we've got a few moments to share here, we're going to go ahead and share with you the boys' results of the 4x100-meter relay.
The fourth place was Ed Cauchelsa. Third place was Weslaco East, so congratulations to Weslaco East there. Second place, Donna High School. And your first place winner with a time of 43.67 is Mercedes High School, so congratulations to them. So, going back to Donna, Joe, they finished with 43.68, so what is it, 1/100th of a second?
1/100th of a second.
Wow.
I think the nose was the difference maker.
Right.
Yeah, I said the neck, you said the nose. I think you were right.
Or maybe even a hair. Who knows?
Yeah, Tyrell has that long hair, so maybe he got that long hair out there first. But yeah, that was a great race. And here are the boys' results for the points totals, Mike. So I know you might want to share those as well.
Okay. And this is coming into the running event. So this is what we have after the fielding events and the 3,200-meter race. We have Mercedes with 65 points. And it's kind of funny because I was talking to Coach Galvan before the event, and he was like that he didn't want to know how many points they had. He didn't even care. That he was just focused on, one event at a time. And he knows that they're the defending champs. But right now, they look good at 65 points coming in. In second place with 54 points is Donna High School. And third place is Weslaco East with 44 points. So I think they've already surpassed what they did all of last year in the district meet. And in fourth place is a Brownsville Veterans Memorial of 43 points. So on the boys' side, we expect it to be very competitive. All the coaches told me that. I mean, it could be anybody's day today. Every day's different, and but they feel pretty good. They feel pretty good. But yeah, the boys' side should be very, very competitive.
Yes, you are absolutely correct, and we've got a lot of events to go so far tonight, and we've started off with some really good racing. We got to see the girls Ed Cauchelsa 4x1 do a really good job, and they, for the most part, began to take over halfway through that race. And then, of course, the boys was just a phenomenal race. We had a couple of teams in Weslaco East, Donna and Mercedes. Mercedes and Donna, as you just mentioned right now, won 100th of a second is what separated first and second place in that race.
And you know what, Joe? The thing is that they both are going to advance. So guess what? They're going to see each other again in the area round, and who knows, in that race, it could be vice versa, or it could be Weslaco East perhaps, maybe coming in second place or even in first place. So that's the great thing about track is the top 4 advance, and then guess what? You're going to see each other again the next round.
Yeah, and you mentioned, we don't know what can happen there because, again, we're talking about 4 exchanges of the baton. And so any little miscue, any little handoff error can really make a difference. And one of the things that I saw earlier is the gentleman, I don't remember who it was, transferred the baton from his left hand to his right hand. And that can make a little bit of a difference as well, because instead of moving forward, you're moving sideways for just that fraction of a second. And we just learned that every fraction of a second counts.
Yeah. And you know what else, Joe? I've also learned that a lot of these athletes play other sports.
Oh, of course.
Like baseball, basketball. And so you wonder how much practice time they've had together. Maybe not a whole lot in some cases, right? Like I know one coach out there told me that, that they haven't really practiced that much. So, he didn't know what to expect. So that also comes into play as well. But that's why you make the adjustments. After today, you see it on film, you see it on, the coaches see it from down there in the field. Those are the things you need to correct moving forward.
Well, you mentioned that, Mike, and we also mentioned that we were here just a few weeks ago with the Jimmy Platt tournament, or the Jimmy Platt track meet. There were a lot of athletes from Weslaco East and Mercedes that were out on a 7-on-7 football tournament that weekend as well. So you talk about the lack of experience, the lack of working with one another, and then you've got all these other factors that come into play. These kids are super busy, which is good though.
Absolutely.
It just keeps them sharp, and they do just a lot of great things. And one of the things that we love to say is that, hey, have fun these days. Participate in as many events, as many programs that you can. Play basketball, play baseball, play football, run track. Go and play tennis, golf. Enjoy these years, embrace these years, and just make great memories. So the 800-meter run is next. And we've had the sheer pleasure of getting to watch a young lady run the 800 meters for so many years. And she's now running for the University of Texas.
Yeah. I mean, we watched her for, 3 or 4 years. We're talking about E-Barb.
Yeah.
Amity E-Barb. And she's doing very well. She's doing excellent over there representing the Valley and Weslaco ISD. We're very proud of her, and we hope she's watching. I mean, I know UT, she's probably studying, hitting the books, but, we are very proud of her. And but, we move on, and there's going to be other great athletes that are going to step up and carry that torch that she left behind. And I don't just mean it in Weslaco, but I mean it across the Valley.
Well, we already gave you the names and participants of the 800-meter run, and we are just moments away from getting that started. So the gun is not yet up. And again, we'll just give you the top 3 times for the gun is up now. And they're off. Good, clean start. And we'll see at the turn to see who is going to begin set the pace here in the 800-meter run. Because once they get to that 150-ish mark, they can begin to make their way down to lane 1.
One of the girls to keep an eye on, Joe, is Natalie Bassan from Weslaco East. Had a chance to talk to Josh Davis, and he tells me that she's the only senior on the team. They are a very young club there, but that Natalie is the best runner on the team. She was the best runner on the cross-country team. And being that this is an 800-meter run, this is kind of her event, really, that she has an opportunity to do well.
Well, Naya Gracia out of Veterans Memorial is setting the pace here, and she's got about a good 15-meter lead on the runners. And then she is followed by the young lady from Donna, Liliana Acuna. She's going to finish lap number 1 at about 1:10, 1:08 to be exact. So she's running at a very good pace. looking at maybe a 220 pace here with a 108 finish as she makes her way around. Has got about 340 meters to 340 meters to go, and she's way in front of everybody. Now she's extended her lead to about 20 meters. 22 meters is what I was looking at as I was gauging on the football field. But you were talking about Natalie Bassan. She's made her way up to second place, Mike. She's already gotten in front of Liliana Acuna of Donna. So we'll see what kind of finish we will have for second and third place. And it looks like Bassan is beginning to distance herself from that pack. But it looks like it's going to be Gracia who's going to finish first as she's coming down to the 100-meter mark in first place, and got enough to catch her. But a great job by Bassan, and we'll see how she finishes as she's got about a 5-meter lead on the pack.
Yeah, we see a couple of the girls making a move there.
Yeah, they're starting to make a move. You've got Sofia Ramos of Edcal Chelsea along with Bassan of Donna, and Bassan just overtook Acuna just overtook Bassan, and so did the young lady from Edcouch. So we'll wait and see how that one ends. So I think we've got to finish up Gracia from Veterans Memorial, Acuna from Dana, and Ramos from Edcouch, along with Bassan from Weslaco East. But we'll have to wait and see, because that third and fourth place finish was very tight.
It was very, very tight. I mean, Bassan, I was getting a little nervous about her because it looked like there was about 3 or 4 girls toward the end that were just ready to make their move there. But, it looks like Bassan did finish in third place there, was able to hold on and will advance to area. There we see the replay of it. And, we see the young lady from Brownsville Veterans there. She dominated from start to finish there. You know, nobody really was able to make a move on her. But, it came down to the second, third, and fourth place finish there. And let's see if we can see the other young ladies there. There's that young lady from Donna. And then there at the very end, I believe she's from Edcal Chelsea.
Yeah,
that would be Rebecca Davila, right?
That's going to be Sofia Ramos from number 6, Rebecca Davila. You're right.
Okay.
During the live race, it was a little difficult to see, but there on the slow motion, I could see the number badge a little clearer. But Rebecca Davila, good strong finish there and here we go is the replay again. You've got the young lady from Donna, and then Edcouch did come back and take over, and that's going to be Rebecca Davila, as you mentioned, and then, of course, Natalie Bassan from Weslaco East finishing fourth. And so those are going to be your area qualifiers. So as we wait for the official results, let's go ahead and give you the participants of the boys 800-meter run, which is going to be the next event. From Donna, Kevin Hernandez. Veteran Memorial, it's going to be James Puckett. Marcos Mejia out of Donna. Natani Collins out of Edcal Chelsea, Jordan Gomez from Mercedes, Evan Mascoro, Weslaco East, Angelo Castellano, Veterans Memorial, Ryan Trevino, Mercedes, Brandon Anciso, Weslaco East, Carlos Cantu, Mercedes, Damian Fuentes, Donna, Eric Davis, Weslaco East, Anthony Segura, Edcal Chelsea, Samuel Ramirez, Edcal Chelsea, Josio Aldape, Julio Velasco from Lopez, Zachary Hooks from Pace, Eduardo Montes out of Porter. 1:59.27 is the best time so far this year, and that is Kevin Hernandez out of Donna. James Puckett out of Veterans Memorial has put in a 2:02.34, and Marcos Mejia of Donna 2:02.97. So we've got some pretty fast guys that have put in some pretty good time. So this is going to be a close one, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. And I know you announced even Mascoro out of Weslaco East, because Coach Owens did mention to me there's a chance that he might not run this race because he wanted to focus more on the 400-meter dash. But if he is, he is an excellent athlete there. And the other kid to look out for is Eric Davis, who's Coach Josh Davis's son there, who's only a sophomore, I think. I'm kind of trying to look back in my notes here, but he's been improving throughout the season, is what Coach Owens told me. That he's a great kid, and that he's been able to keep up with some of the top runners in the Valley this year. But he expects a lot of things from him moving forward. That's for sure.
Well, they've already put them in their lane assignments, and we are just moments from getting started. The starter has made his way up his podium, and they are just verifying that everybody is in the correct lane. And they're giving them the last second instructions, letting them know that there are some cones set up right at the 150-ish mark, and that's where they can begin to make their break into the first lane. For the first 110 meters, they have to stay in their lanes.
Yeah, and being that this is a district meet, I think moving forward, they're just going to look at everything a little more closer than the other meets that maybe wouldn't count or not as important as this one. But, this is UIL event. This is the district meet.
Gun is up, gun is sounded, and it's a good, clean start for the boys' 800-meter run. So let's see who's going to set the pace for the boys' division. And it's a big pack. And we've got the gentleman from Donna, Marcos Mejia and Kevin Hernandez, along with James Puckett. And James Puckett has just taken the lead, and he's going to begin to set the pace. And he's being followed by Kevin Hernandez. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Hernandez won the 3,200-meter relay. 3,200-meter run the other day.
And I was told that he's going to move on to run at Incarnate Ward College there on a cross-country scholarship. And he's done very well this year, that he's basically won every meet except the Texas Relays, where, the competition up there is elite. But he's ranked in the top 3 in the region in the 3,200-meter run.
Well, him and Puckett just went across the first lap at 59 seconds. So if they can hold that, we're looking at a 158 as they finish here. And here comes Hernandez, and he's beginning to turn it on, Mike. He just took over Puckett, and now he's like in an all-out sprint. Look at him. He's already got 10 meters on the pack. And Nathani Collins out of Edcal Chelsea is right there on the heels of Puckett. So we've got Hernandez, Puckett, and Collins out of Edcal Chelsea, the top 3.
Yeah, I stand corrected, Joe. Kevin Hernandez is the young man that's going to run at Incarnate Ward College, and that has done very well this year, has finished in the tops across the meets this year, except Texas Relays. James Puckett is going to go to Rice University on an academic scholarship.
Good for him. He just finished second. So 2 flat, 204, and 205 is the finish for Kevin Hernandez, James Puckett, and Nathani Collins. So those were the top 3 in this race, and a very good race. Hernandez, right at about the 700-meter mark, began to make his move, and at about 650, he just turned it on onto another level and just began to outdistance himself from the pack. So here's the replay. Here comes Hernandez as he's coming down the stretch, and there's no one even in the screen. As you can tell, he is just flying down through the finish line.
And if I'm not mistaken, Joe, he did very well in the Jimmy Platt Invitational too, didn't he?
Yes.
I was watching him, and I remember him from the meet a month ago, and it's just a great runner, fantastic athlete, and congratulations to him. But yeah, once again, he is the young man that's going to move on to Incarnate Ward on a cross-country scholarship.
Final call for the girls.
And we wish him luck moving forward, because they say he has the potential to move on to state.
Yeah. If he keeps running like that, he can. Because as we saw, Mike, as soon as he hit, like I said, right around the 700 meter mark, he began to make his move, and at about 650 there was no one going to be able to keep up with him, because he just turned down the juices and he was at a whole nother level. So we're going to head on over to the next event, which is going to be the 100-meter hurdles, and the girls finals are going to be in lane 1, Erin Solis out of Edcal Chelsea. Lane 2, Daniela Animas of Weslaco East. In lane 3, Aika Garza of Donna. Lane 4, Genesis Augustus of Brownsville Pace. Lane 5, Leah Adame of Mercedes. Lane 6, Alma Lopez of Veterans Memorial. Lane 7, Amber Solis from Brownsville Lopez. And lane 8, Clarissa Rodriguez from Donna. Genesis Augustus has the best time coming into tonight's competition, 16.75. Second best time is going to be from Leah Adame, 17.89, and Aika Garza with the third best time, 17.93.
Yeah, that's over a second there in the prelim. So that's very impressive there by the young lady out of Brownsville Pace there. So let's see how well she does here in the finals.
Yeah, you were right, Mike. A whole second better than the next two competitors.
Yeah,
and
I think the next one, I think you said, was 1789, right? And then third is 17.93.
Right.
So after Genesis, everybody else looks pretty balanced, more or less. So
right. She seems to stand out of this crowd. And then after this, it's going to be the boys' 110-meter hurdle. So the girls run 100 meters and the boys go 110 meters. So a little different in both events for the hurdles for the boys and the girls.
Final call.
I have here the results of the girls' 800-meter run. In fourth place was Natalie Basan out of Weslaco East. In third place is Rebecca Davila out of Ercachelse. In second place is Liliana Acuna out of Dana. And your first place winner with a time of 2:21.72 is Naya Gracia out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Congratulations.
Yeah, great job by that young lady. She was the pace setter and, of course, the top finisher in that event.
From Weslaco East, Stephanie Mendoza. In fifth place from Ercachelse, Sofia Ramos. In fourth place from Weslaco East, Natalie Basan.
Yeah, right now they're announcing the 800-meter results.
Ercachelse, Rebecca Davila.
Yeah, these are the ladies on the podium that will be going to the area round. They'll be advancing, as you can see on your screen.
You know, Joe, I was never in track and field. I did participate in summer track, but I mean, I know you participated in track at Mercedes High School back in the 80s. And just what was it like to stand on the podium like that and receive a medal?
It's an honor, especially when it comes to district, because of course, you know, we like you mentioned the Texas relays, and you were talking about Kevin Hernandez. We went to a lot of those relays as well. We went to a lot of the big ones because our coach really wanted to test us throughout the course of the year, and of course, you know, just being able to stand on that first place district really meant a lot. You know, it's just something else to be able to say you are the best.
I mean, because track is the one sport where they take out the stands like that, the podiums like that, and they put first place, second place, third place, fourth place. Everything else is more of a team sport: basketball, football, soccer.
Yeah. You know, because like district championships in baseball, you know, you win it before the end of the season, and so really there isn't a presentation like there is in track. You know, they give you the trophy at the end of the game, or maybe bring it to you at the school later on, but it's not in front of a big crowd. It's always in front of your own crowd.
Right. And you know what? Knowing these athletes, I'm willing to bet that as proud as they are to receive those medals, they would really like to bring that district championship home. And I'm sure that's what a lot of them are thinking right now. You know, what can I do
to help the
team produce points and bring a district championship?
Yeah, because, you know, as great as the individual events are, it's just so much more meaningful because you're with everybody year in and year out, day in and day out throughout the course of the season. So the ladies have made their way into their lanes. The starter is about to put the gun up. And again, let's give you a quick rundown. Erin Solis in lane 1. Daniela Animas in lane 2. Aika Garza lane 3. Genesis Augustus lane 4. Leah Dame lane 5. Alma Lopez lane 6. Amber Solis lane 7. Clarissa Rodriguez in lane 8. Gun is up. Gun is sounded. Good clean start. And it's Genesis Augustus in lane 4. And right outside of her is a young lady from Dana, Aika Garza. Looks like she is going in second, but it is going to be Augustus finishing first, followed by Dana and then Mercedes. So Aika Garza doing a great job along with Leah Adame. First, second, and third in the girls' 100
In sixth place,
meter hurdles.
And you know what, Joe? I think what impressed me more about this young lady is not the way she started, but the way she finished, because she actually looked like she got off to a slow start. I don't know if she just didn't jump off when she wanted to, but she was kind of with the rest of the girls. But then just the last, I would say maybe 90 meters or so, she just dominated the race and saw what we saw in the preliminary numbers there and just ran away with the race. And an outstanding job by Augustus. And also give credit to the young lady from Donna, that would be Garza, right, that finished in second place, that also did a great job running the race.
Yeah, because Leah Adame looked like she had the best start out of the three. But as you mentioned, Mike, once Genesis started going, there was no holding that young lady back. Augustus just really began to explode after they got past that first hurdle. She began to separate herself.
Right, no doubt about it. So when you see a time like 16.75, you know, right away you think, wow, she probably explodes right off the gun there. But no, not in this particular race. But you know, she still rebounded and finished strong.
Yeah, very strong finish there. So our next event's going to be the boys 110-meter hurdles. In lane 1 from Weslaco East is going to be Jonathan Munoz. In lane 2, Brownsville Pace, Daniel Delgado. Lane 3 out of Donna is going to be Francisco Contreras. Lane 4 out of Brownsville Pace is Nathan Herrera. Lane 5, Veterans Memorial out of Brownsville, Joe Michael Reina. Lane 6, Brownsville Pace, Aiden Hernandez. Lane 7, Alexis Rodriguez from Edcal Chelsea. And in lane 8, Ramiro Flores out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In lane 4, Nathan Herrera from Brownsville Pace comes in with the best time of 16.33. Second best time comes from Joe Michael Reina out of Veterans Memorial Brownsville, 16.93, followed by Francisco Contreras from Donna, 16.97. So some really good times, very close times. And so this one is going to be a tight finish. And, of course, watch those three guys in the middle of the track.
Yeah, at least that's what we expect, right? I mean, according to the preliminary times, this will be a pretty tight race there. And they raised the hurdles, by 10? Is it 10 meters, 10 feet?
No.
10,
They move them up 2 spots, which is probably going to be maybe about 6 inches at the most.
Yeah, it can't be 10 feet, that's for sure. Yeah. That's too high.
Yeah, but they do move them up for the boys. And, again, they move them out as well because it's 110 meters versus 100 meters for the girls.
And then I know we say it every year, but when I think of 110 meters, I think of Vince Castillo out of Donna.
Yes.
And I think of Randy Barmel of Harlingen.
Of Harlingen, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Those two young men, just outstanding runners there, represented the Valley, always went to state, did very well up there. I understand that one of the coaches from Donna was telling me that I think Vince Castillo graduated from college, so congratulations to him.
Yes.
And hopefully he comes back to the Valley. You know, I don't know, but golly, I mean, you know, that's what we need. We need special people like that to go out there and do well and then come back if they choose to come back.
Yeah, and, you know, guys like Vince and of course, you know, those people are a dime a dozen. You know, there are not too many of those people out there, you know. They're not a dime a dozen, what I meant to say. You know, those are like you said, Mike, they're very special people. And people like that, you know, a lot of times from what I've seen, end up doing like some kind of graduate coaching program at the universities as well, you know, so.
Okay.
So it could be that he might be doing something like that. You know,
he was in Mississippi.
Yes.
Right?
And
somewhere in Mississippi.
Okay, the gun is going to be up as the guys are in their lane. So once again, Jonathan Munoz, Daniel Delgado, Francisco Contreras, Nathan Herrera, Joe Michael Reina, Aiden Hernandez, Alexis Rodriguez, and Ramiro Flores. And the gun is off. And it is a good, clean start. And down here in lane 7, it looks like Alexis Rodriguez has got a really good start. But in the middle, Nathan Herrera is beginning to make up some ground. And the finish, it is going to be the young man from Edcal Chelsea, Alexis Rodriguez, followed by Nathan Herrera. Mike, you nailed it when you said that's what it looks like on paper.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what? What's more impressive in my mind is it looked like he knocked down about 3 of those hurdles, and he was still able to, you know, keep moving forward as we see the replay here. Let's see if he knocks down 1 or 2. But That's not easy. I mean, I've seen it before where they knocked. See, there's one there, and look at him. Look at him still go. Look at him. He knocked down a hurdle from the other lane, and he still was able to finish in first place.
He nipped 2 hurdles and knocked one down.
Well, I mean, that's on the replay. I think there was one earlier that he knocked down early in the race. And, yeah, I mean, that's not easy. Usually when that happens, you either trip or fall or lose your balance or go from second place to fourth or fifth place. But not in this case. It's all mental, isn't it?
Yeah, mentally strong. He didn't let that bother him. He knew that he had clipped it, but he didn't let it bother him. A lot of times, if you let that sink into your head, oh no, I hit the hurdle, that's when you begin to mess things up.
So he came in with a preliminary time of 18.86.
That's what it is on paper, but he finished strong, and we don't know what the time is, and we'll wait for the official results. But it was a really good race run by that young man, Alexis Rodriguez of Ed Couch Elsa. So again, Mike, just mentally strong, just knowing that he had made contact with those hurdles, was able just to let that happen and know that, I'm going to keep my balance and I'm going to finish strong in this race and win this race.
And we just got the results of that race, and we'll go through it real quick. In fourth place was Francisco Contreras out of Donna. Third place was Aiden Hernandez out of Brownsville Pace. His teammate, Nathan Herrera, came in second place. And Alexis Hernandez, according to this,
Alexis Rodriguez,
I beg your pardon, finished with 16.72, and his preliminary time was 18.86, so that's more than 2 seconds improvement.
Well, Mike, it could have been that he just had a bad race in the prelims.
Possibly. Or you never know. Maybe he was nursing an injury or something. I know sometimes when coaches talk to me about track meets, they're like, oh, so-and-so had a flu or so-and-so wasn't feeling well. And just perhaps in that race, in the preliminaries, he just wasn't mentally there. But boy, did he show up for this race.
Yeah, I just heard that the other day with the boys' baseball team with the Weslaco Panthers. A couple of guys were hit by the flu bug, and they still were able to come out and play a few days later. Not feeling all that well, but had been given the green light by the doctor already.
And while we have a few more minutes, Joe, I got the results of the boys' 800-meter run. In fourth place was Marcos Mejia out of Donna. In third place was Natani Collins out of Eka Chelsea. Second place was James Puckett out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a time of 2.00.60 is Kevin Hernandez out of Donna High School.
Good race run by Kevin. So the girls' 100-meter dash is next, followed by the boys' 100-meter dash. So let's go to give you the participants of the girls' 100-meter dash. Out of Donna, Nicole Moreno. Out of Edcau Chelsea, Haley Guzman. Out of Edcau Chelsea, Areli Vasquez. From Donna, Samira Gonzalez. From Mercedes, Jamie Flores. From Lopez, Brownsville Lopez, Cassandra Aguirre. From Mercedes, Angelina Perales. And out of Brownsville Lopez, Nereida de Santiago. Samira Gonzalez has the best time of 12.4, followed by Jamie Flores of Mercedes, 12.5, and Areli Vasquez of Edcau Chelsea, 12.67. So Mercedes has Angelina Perales and Jamie Flores, and both those young ladies were part of that 4x100-meter relay that came in second place. Edcau Chelsea, they bring not Alexis. I'm looking at the wrong one. Edcau Chelsea has 2 young ladies as well. That's what I was going to follow up with. They've got Areli Vasquez and Haley Guzman, and those 2 young ladies were also on the 4x100-meter relay. And Haley Guzman was the young lady that anchored that Edcau Chelsea gold medal 4x100-meter relay.
My understanding is that Areli is getting looked at by UTRGV, that she may sign and run over there. And actually, she used to also play soccer freshman, sophomore year, I think, and also ran track, but decided to just focus on track the last 2 years and has done very well. And they're telling me that she was going to aim for the school record in the 100 and 200 meters today. So yeah, I'm sure the coaches are going to keep an eye on that. But that's good to know about that young lady, that she's done very, very well, and that she'll run at the next level.
Yes, that's always exciting news. And, you're talking about Arely Vasquez, and she didn't run in that 4x100 meter relay, but she's going to be on the 4x2. And I believe I saw her name on the 4x4 as well. Very good athlete in Arely. And so we're getting ready for the girls' 100 meter dash. And so now they're presenting the boys' 110 meter hurdles finalists. Francisco Contreras just got on the podium, finishing fourth, so he'll be headed to area. We got to see him play basketball.
In second place, Brownsville Pace, Nathan Herrera. And in first place, with a finals time of 16.72 seconds from Edgar
When you look at the big
Chelsea,
picture, Joe, you see those two young men from Brownsville Pace there. They're actually helping racking up more points. Right? You see the Brownsville Pace second place and then third place. And even though the young man from Edgar Chelsea came out as first place, but the big picture, if you want to look at the point system,
they had three finishers. So they
had
got
three finishers.
So even though the other young man didn't make the podium, he still gets points.
So he finished in fifth place.
Right, so he gets 2 points.
Yeah. So every point matters here. And you know what? I remember Weslaco High coach Pablo Magued always looked at that big picture. And Jimmy Platt was another one that always did the same thing. What matters more is just racking up points to help your team, get a district championship.
Yep. You got all the horses to win medals and podium, but you get all those points from all the other ones that didn't get on the podium but did get a medal, and so all those points matter. So the young ladies are getting ready. They've got their blocks set up for the 100 meter dash, and again we mentioned that Mercedes and Ed Couch, they both have 2 participants. The other school that has 2 participants is Donna. Donna will have Nicole Moreno, and they will also have Samira Gonzalez. Gonzalez, of course, has the best time in the girls' 100 meter dash. And Samira, of course, was the anchor of the girls' 4x100 meter, along with Nicole Moreno, was the second runner of that group. So a lot of young ladies that ran the 4x100 meter relay teams are also running this 100 meter dash tonight.
And you know what, Joe? I bet they feel fresh out there because it's a beautiful day today. It's not 100 degrees like it was last week. Last Wednesday was like 103, 104 degrees, but today was just a gorgeous day. I think it was like in the 50s this morning. And now we see the shade kind of creeping in. The shadows are kind of creeping in a little bit there. And I bet it feels really nice and comfortable out there. So I bet these runners are very happy with what Mother Nature gave us today.
Well, we did get a cold front yesterday, and it brought temperatures down, as you mentioned, Mike, down to about 50-something degrees this morning. And we'll look up to see what the weather looks like right now. But the girls are heading into their blocks right now as the starter is getting them ready to get going here in the 100-meter dash. And again, the best time is coming from Samira Gonzalez out of Donna, 12.44. It's a nice 80 degrees. Oh. Winds are coming out of the southeast at 15 miles an hour. So very pleasant. A lot better than 100 like you mentioned a while ago.
This is California coast weather. You're out in L.A.
The gun has sounded. It's a good, clean start. And the young lady Gonzalez from Donna, followed by Mercedes and Ed Cauchelsa. It's going to be Gonzalez from Donna, Flores from Mercedes, and Vasquez from Ed Cauchelsa. Second and third, I'm not so sure, Mike.
Oh, that was very, very close between Mercedes and Ed Cauchelsa. It was what, Flores and Vasquez, I think,
yes,
right?
It was
lane
Vasquez,
3. So
yes.
We were talking about Vasquez before the race, and this was a great, great race there. And let's see how the results finished there. We get a good shot of all the runners there. We see the replay there, but you see Gonzalez kind of dominating the race a little bit so much. But look at the runner on lane, 5 Mercedes there. That'd be Flores.
Yeah, Jamie Flores.
And then you see Vasquez there, just Flores and Vasquez neck and neck, and let's see who finishes. Oh, I tell you what, it looked to me like Flores. She put her head down, And
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the difference.
Yeah, we'll wait for the official results, but it was very, very close, Mike. That was a very good race for second and third, but there was no mistaking that young lady from Donna finished first, Samira Gonzalez. So, again, good race there by Gonzalez from Donna. Mercedes boys, Terrell Trevino, and Weslaco East boys, Gael Romo. That is one that I had circled before I even got here. And I was talking about that right before the 4x100 meter relay, is that those two young men are going to make a difference in this track meet today, and they will be in lanes 3 and 4. But before we talk about that, let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments. Gunnar Williams of Brownsville Porter in lane 1, Michael McHale of Veterans Memorial in lane 2, Tyrell Trevino of Mercedes in lane 3, Gael Romo of Westco East in lane 4, Luis Silva, Donna, lane 5, Manny Hernandez, Head Cow Chelsea, lane 6, Elijah Trevino, Head Cow Chelsea, lane 7, Ivan Gonzalez at Brownsville Pace in lane 8. I mentioned to you, Mike, that I had seen the posting that Gael Romo had run that 10-8 earlier this week, and I was excited to see that. And then again, as I mentioned, him and Tyrell, those two guys are just speed.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Coach Owens told me that preliminary run, that was a new school record.
Yes.
That he broke a Lupe Moron's record that was set almost 10 years ago, more or less. And he told me that the difference in his mind has been the starting block mechanics, the mechanics of jumping out of it. They've worked on that, has improved, and now he comes in with the top preliminary time. So let's see. But as you mentioned, this is going to be a good one. And Romo is only a junior.
Yeah, and let's not count out Luis Silva. That young man was the anchor for that Donna team that we just saw in the 4x100 meter relay a little while ago, that him and Trevino finished neck and neck. 1/100th of a second was the difference maker in that race. So the young men are in their blocks, and the gun is up. And we'll see the blocks, the starting block for Romo. Good, clean start. Trevino and Silva are out first. But here comes Romo making some room. But look at Silva's finish, Mike. Here comes Romo trying to catch Silva. But it's Silva, Romo, Trevino.
Wow. Great job there by Silva. Staying ahead of Romo there and finished strong. And, right from the start, all of them just kind of went off and looked at the finish line and did a great job.
That was a great race. Here's the replay. Here they are in the middle. Romo in the middle. To his right, Donna Silva. To his left, Trevino, Mercedes. So here comes Romo, Silva, Trevino. Romo looked like he was going to be able to get him, but it looked like Silva let out a yell just to finish, and he finished just ahead of Romo. So it was Silva, Romo, Trevino in a great 100-meter dash.
And that's what I love about the 100-meter dash, is that it's just a sprint from start to finish. There's no strategy involved. You just go. And that's what they all did. Those three runners just put on a show for us for those few seconds and did a great job.
Yeah, it was a great race. Great play by all of them. As you mentioned, Mike, they had been working on the start with Romo. And those three young men came out strong from the blocks. And I don't know what was going through each and every one of their heads, but those three from the beginning, you knew as soon as you saw them come out of that blocks that they were going to run and we were going to see a great race. So as we wait for the results, we got next the girls 4x200 meter relay. And we will go over the lane assignments. Lane 1 is going to be Brownsville Porter. Lane 2, Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Lane 3, Mercedes. Lane 4, Ed Calchelsa. Lane 5, Donna High School. Lane 6, Brownsville Pace. Lane 7, Brownsville Lopez. Lane 8, Weslaco East. And they just handed you some more results. Mike, you want to let us know about those?
Yes, I was just handed the boys 100-meter dash. In fourth place was Manny Hernandez out of Ed Calchelsa. In third place was Tyrell Trevino out of Mercedes. In second place was Gael Romo out of Weslaco East. And your first place winner with a time of 11.36 was Luis Silva out of Dana. And Gael Romo's time was 11.45.
Yeah, so not the greatest of times for any of those racers. They all came in with better preliminary times. And as we mentioned earlier, Romo had already broken the 11-second barrier and was already running a 10.8 earlier this week. So, but nonetheless, still a very good race, run very hard by those young men. And as we mentioned, we are going to head over to the 4x200-meter relay. In lane 1, as we mentioned, it's going to be Brownsville Porter, Ariana Hernandez, Victoria Ruiz, Sofia Morado, and Yatsari Sosa. Lane 2, Brownsville Veterans Memorial, Brock Madison, Alondra Calzada, Lauren Cavazos, Aurora Garcia. Lane 3, Mercedes, Cassidy Cantu, Angelina Perales, Katie Flores, Serena Limas. Lane 4, Ed Couch Elsa, Robin Perez, Areli Vasquez, Jasmine Mireles, Alexis Ramirez. Lane 5, Donna, Emily Jones, Nicole Moreno, Calista Nino, Samira Gonzalez. Lane 6, Pace, Laisha Abundis, Caitlin Vasquez, Genesis Augustus, Valerie Ramos. Lane 7, Brownsville Lopez, Yasli Rapalo, Nereida de Santiago, Daera Howard, Cassandra Aguirre. And then lane 8 is Weslaco East, Marinela Garcia, Varelia Juarez, Clarissa Rodriguez, and Nayeli Carrizales. So Edgar Chelsea with the best time of 147.8, followed by Donna 149 and Mercedes 150. But you know what, Mike? I don't know, but I kind of like the names I see on that Brownsville Pace team, especially when you got 3 and 4 and Genesis Augustus and Valerie Ramos.
Yeah, we saw Augustus do well in the hurdles, right? That was that young lady that did very well. And if I remember, Joe, Emily Jones out of Donna, I remember her name from the Jimmy Platt Invitational, right? And so, yeah, this should be a good one.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Edgar Chelsea is a strong team. But again, you know, let's not count out any of the other groups. They've got some good athletes on there. You know, a couple of names that we've mentioned already. Angelina Perales, Serena Limas out of that Mercedes team. And then, of course, you know, you mentioned Donna, Emily Jones, but don't remember, we also saw Nicole Moreno and Samira Gonzalez, who just finished first in the 100-meter dash. So some really good names on a lot of these girls' teams this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we have a few minutes, I do have the results from the girls' 100-meter hurdles. In 4th place was Alma Lopez out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In 3rd place is Leah Adame out of Mercedes. In 2nd place is Aicha Garza out of Donna. And your 1st place winner with a time of 16.87 was a young lady we just talked about, Genesis Augustus out of Brownsville Pace. And I also have the results of the girls' 100-meter dash. In 4th place is Cassandra Aguirre out of Brownsville Lopez. In 3rd place is Areli Vasquez out of Edcal Chelsea. 2nd place is Jamie Flores out of Mercedes. And your 1st place winner with a time of 13.21 is Samira, I hope I say it right. Samira Gonzalez out of Donna.
Yeah, that was a young lady that finished really well. And she just got off the podium and has got to get ready to run this 4x200-meter relay.
In 5th place, from Edcal Chelsea, Elijah Trevino. In 4th place, Edcal Chelsea.
Do you still have your medals from when you ran track?
I do not. I'm going to be honest with you. I lost all my high school memorabilia in a house fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
From Weslaco East.
But you have the memories.
I have the memories.
Good memories.
Yes.
And in 1st place from Donna High School with a time of 11 seconds, Luis Silva.
Yeah, you see Luis Silva there, your 1st place winner, and sporting those sunglasses. Hey, if you're going to stand on a podium like that, you got to make sure you look good.
Yeah, got to make sure you look good. And there they are, the 100-meter dash finishers in a great race. That was fun to watch. So the 4x200 meter relay girls division is next, and followed by the boys. So let's just give you the lane assignments for the boys. In lane 1, it'll be Donna. Lane 2, Brownsville Pace. Lane 3, Weslaco East. Lane 4, Mercedes. Lane 5, Brownsville Lopez. Lane 6, Ed Cauchelsa. Lane 7, Brownsville Porter. And lane 8, Veterans Memorial of Brownsville. So girls are first. Again, let's remind you of where they will be. In lane 1, it's going to be Brownsville Porter. Lane 2, Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Lane 3, Mercedes. Lane 4, Ed Cauchelsa. Lane 5, Donna. Lane 6, Brownsville Pace. Lane 7, Brownsville Lopez. And lane 8, Weslaco East. And they are ready. Not everyone is using blocks to begin. I'm looking at the track right now. Veterans Memorial, the young ladies do not have starting blocks there, and it looks like everybody else does. And then lane 6, and that is a team from Brownsville Pace. Oh, there they are down here, but the blocks are up there by themselves, so they're probably going to send someone up there in just a little bit, as some of those young ladies were just walking off the podium because they just finished the 100-meter dash. So
in 4x200 meter means they run 200 meters in exchange. Yeah.
Yes. And so this will be a 2-lap race.
Right. Yeah, because coaches tell me different things. 4x200, 4x2, but it's the equivalent of like an 800 meter relay.
Correct.
800 meter total overall relay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, every coach has their own
terminology,
their own little jargon on the way they use it, and but yeah, 4x2, 4x200 meters. So yeah, they just they cut it short. We're in this new era of where everything is just shorter. I was listening to Fox Sports Radio on the way in, and they were talking about some tweets and some hashtags and different stuff, and they actually had to go to the Urban Dictionary to figure things out. So here we go. Gun is up. And it has sounded, and it's a good, clean start for the girls' 4x200 meter relay. On the screen, it says 800 meter relay, and they will stay in their lanes as we get things started here. And let's see who is first to hand off the baton. And it looks like it's going to be Ed Couch Pace and Donna. Doing a really good job with the exchange. Pace and Donna up here at the top of your screen are out in front. The young lady from Brownsville Pace, and that's going to be Caitlin Vasquez, doing a really good job with her lane. But making up some ground quickly is Areli Vasquez, the name that you were talking about earlier, Mike, and a potential signee to UTRGV. And she made up some ground as Ed Cauchelsa got the baton first. And they have just made up the stagger. And Ed Cauchelsa, and that third leg for Ed Cauchelsa is Jasmine Mireles. And she has gotten out in front as Areli Vasquez did a really good job making up some time and getting a really good handoff to Mireles of Ed Cauchelsa. And here comes the final exchange, and Ed Cauchelsa is in first place. And they have begun to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. And underneath in lane 2, we've got the girls from Veterans Memorial, along with Donna and Pace, all coming in for second and third. And this looks like it's going to be Ed Cauchelsa, Donna, and the schools, Pace and Veterans Memorial. And the anchor leg is Alexis Ramirez for Ed Cauchelsa, and she will take the tape in first place. And Donna's Samira Gonzalez, the gold medal winner for the 100-meter dash, comes in second. So a really good job by Ed Cauchelsa and Donna to finish first and second, followed by Pace and then Veterans Memorial.
Yeah, you mentioned Brownsville Pace. I was trying to figure out who finished there in third place, but I think at the last second there, the Lady Vikings were able to finish there in third place there. But yeah, Ed Cauchelsa with a strong race there. It looked like to me, Joe, a few of the runners in the first lap were having trouble exchanging the batons there, and that probably made a difference a little bit. But Ed Cauchelsa was the one that ran the cleanest race and did a great job in exchanging the baton. We see Brownsville Pace there just finishing inches ahead of fourth place there.
Yeah, we were talking about some of those names earlier, Mike, as we were, before we got started on that race, and we had talked about how some of these teams had some really strong athletes. And one of them that we talked about, of course, was the young lady who was the gold medal winner in the hurdles, Genesis Augustus. So, again, a lot of these teams bring in the horses for these finals.
Yeah, and this is the 200, and this was the 4x200. So, little more running involved here. We see the 4x100, where they just run 100 meters, but this time it's a little more running at 200, right? So,
yes,
there's a lot more, running involved for each athlete. So, very, very important that they, run well and make sure that you exchange a baton, the right way.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. And the boys 4x200 meter relay is next in lane 1. Donna, they've got Marcos Mejia, Brian Juarez, Javier Rodriguez, Luis Silva. Brownsville Pace in lane 2, Ivan Gonzalez, Emiliano Lopez, Nathan Herrera, and Jesus Coelho. Lane 3, Weslaco East, Gael Romo, Gianni Ortiz, Joe Lugo, Jesse James Garcia. Lane 4, Mercedes, David Clower, Austin Davila, Luis Piñon, Javier Sanchez. Lane 5, Brownsville Lopez, Jacob Cortinas, Alejandro Martinez, Kentaya Munoz, and Jonathan Munoz. Lane 6, El Cauchosa, Elijah Trevino, Donovan Martinez, Moses De Leon, and Roel Medina. Lane 7, Porter, Gunnar Williams, Chris Ortiz, Isaí Hernandez, Adolfo Gonzalez. And lane 8, Brownsville Veterans Memorial, Michael McHale, Eros Pineda, Jay Valdez, and Gilbert Trillo. So again, Weslaco East, very strong with Gael Romo, Joe Lugo, Gianni Ortiz, and Jesse James Garcia. Mercedes, their name that we haven't mentioned tonight, David Clower. He was the gold medal finisher, if I'm not mistaken, in the high jump. So another good athlete on this ball club for Mercedes. And, of course, a couple of other names that we've already mentioned, Austin Davila, Luis Piñon, Javier Sanchez. But, one of the teams that I think is going to look strong here, a couple of names that we've heard already, is that Brownsville Pace team, Ivan Gonzalez, Emiliano Lopez, Nathan Herrera. We heard that name earlier, and Jesus Coelho as well. So the young men are in their blocks.
You talk about Weslaco East with Gael Romo, Joe Lugo, and Jesse James Garcia. Gianni Ortiz is only a freshman.
Yes.
Keep an eye on him. This is his first race of the season.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he was a freshman. I didn't know that was his first race. So the gun went off. It was a good, clean start. Romo has made up a little bit of ground on Mercedes. And Mercedes has made a little bit of ground on the team of Brownsville Lopez. So here comes the exchange. And the Weslaco East drops the baton. So Mercedes' second leg is going to be Austin Davila. And he is making up some room. But look on the outside. Brownsville Porter looking really strong. That is Chris Ortiz. He has made up and surpassed the gentleman on the outside. And they have the baton first, followed by Mercedes and Ed Cauchosa. So here they come. Porter at the top of your screen is the team to catch. As a great race. But look at the team from Donna down here in lane 1. They have made up some ground, and it looks like they are in first place as they are the first to make the exchange of the baton. Donna, followed by Pace, Mercedes, and Brownsville Lopez. Third leg for Mercedes, Luis Piñon. But Donna is going to be Javier Rodriguez doing a great job. And looks like Donna is going to finish first place, followed by Lopez and Mercedes.
Yeah, that was close between Mercedes and Lopez there.
But what a race. Again, look at the young man that was the anchor for Donna, none other than Luis Silva. And this is going to be the second time, if I'm not mistaken, that he's going to receive a gold medal.
Yeah, the key in my mind in this race for Donna was Javier Rodriguez.
Yes.
That was the key. He was the third runner who gained a lot of ground, who made up a lot of ground, and did an outstanding job in the exchange to Luis Silva. And Luis Silva just finished the race strong and gave Donna another gold medal.
Yes. So a great job by that Donna Redskin team to come out with the gold, but a good race. You know, Brownsville Porter for a while there looked really good. We talked about the young man, Chris Ortiz, with a great leg for Brownsville Porter. But again, as you mentioned, Mike, the game changer was that leg run by Javier Rodriguez and Luis Silva, third and fourth legs of that Donna team. They were able to finish strong and finish with the gold.
And I also want to mention that we saw the baton drop for Weslaco East, but I kept an eye on the young man there. That was the freshman. I think he rebounded very well and ran very well in his part of the 200 and made up a lot of ground despite that exchange. And, you know, being that it was his first race, you know, things like that will happen. But we look for better days ahead of him. I mean, Coach Owen spoke very highly of him, that has a great attitude, very athletic, very raw, very young. But yeah, it was good to see him rebound from that and ran a good race.
Yeah, it's you know, you can't change a mistake, but you can finish strong. You know, you could do one of two things. You can sit and pout about it, or just take off and finish strong. And I think he chose the latter, which is the best decision.
Report to the podium at this time.
So the boys 4x200 meter relay is done, and we're going to head on over to the girls and boys 400 meter dash. But before we do that, they are handing out the hardware for the girls 4x2 and then the boys 4x2. And do you have results for which races, Mike?
I got the results of the girls 4x200 meter relay. In fourth place is Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In third place is Brownsville Pace. Second place is Donna High School. And your first place winner with a time of 1:49.11 is KWES High School. And I also have the results of the boys 4x200 meter relay. In fourth place is Brownsville Pace. Third place is Brownsville Lopez. Second place is Mercedes. And your first place winner with a time of 1:32.37 is Donna High School.
What a great race by Donna. Girls 400 meter dash is next, and they are taking out the blocks for that. And let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments. In lane 1 from Mercedes is going to be Valeria Zamarripa. In lane 2 from Weslaco East is going to be Judith Gomez. In lane 3 from Weslaco East is going to be Melody Herrera. In lane 4 from Donna, Emily Jones. In lane 5 from KWES, Jasmine Mireles. In lane 6 from KWES, Sofia Ramos. In lane 7 from Brownsville Porter, Leslie Ortiz. And in lane 8 from Mercedes is going to be Stephanie Cano. Mercedes has 2 participants. Weslaco East has 2 participants. KWES has 2 participants. So opportunities to grab a lot of points here for some of these squads.
Yeah, the young lady I want to keep my eye on is Melody Herrera out of Weslaco East. She comes in ranked number 2 in the race. She missed 4 weeks earlier in the season with a hamstring injury, so she's been able to bounce back and is ready to perform in district.
Yeah, she comes in with a time of 1:03. The best time so far is 1 minute flat from Emily Jones from Donna. So that's going to be a really good race there in the middle with Melody Herrera, Emily Jones. And let's not count out Jasmine Mireles of KWES.
Yeah, I think you said it there. KWES. Anybody from KWES, we know that they're quality runners because they're well coached. And they over the years, they've had a lot of great athletes in track and field. So no doubt about that. So they have 2 participants in this race.
Well, there are the podium on your screen right now are the top 2 finishers in the 4x2, Mercedes and Donna. Donna putting up that W for win, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
Winner, winner, winner.
Win, yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, Mercedes posing for a pick. As you can see, a couple of guys, just kind of bending over a little bit so that the guys behind them could come out in the camera shot. But again, great race by those squads. Again, you mentioned it, Mike, the third and fourth legs from Donna did a exceptional job in that race.
You can tell the chemistry that they have together. We talked a little bit earlier about how some of these are probably running their first races of the year, or maybe they haven't had enough practice together. But with Donna, you can tell that the chemistry is there all around and that they've worked together.
And back on the podium for more picks are the girls from EdCouch, the 4x200 meter gold medal winners, as they getting some more picks up there as well. And so again, we are going to do the girls and boys 400 meter dash. Girls first, followed by the boys, and we won't give you much, but we'll just go and give you the names of the boys that will be participating. Gael Perez, Javier Rodriguez, Natani Collins, Chris Ortiz, Evan Mascorro, Mark Zamorano, Keith, and Adrian Garcia will be the participant in the boys 400 meter dash. The girls are first, as we mentioned. The blocks are out on the track. We're waiting for the young ladies to make their way out onto the track. They haven't done so just yet. The race is slated for 7:15, so it is 7:12 right now on my watch. So I guess we are waiting for 7:15. Not sure if we've got any media timeouts that we've got to contend with, Mike, or anything like that.
I don't know, but I would think that they would just kind of move along with the race. But who knows? Maybe they'd rather just stick to the schedule. Do it by the book, I guess. I mean, you never know. Maybe there's a participant or two that may be somewhere else, and they know it's like a curfew, I guess. Like, make sure to be here at 7:15. So I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking at the agenda that was handed to us with the times, and like I said, the blocks are out there, but the athletes are not, and so we'll just have to wait and see. What about any results for the field events that happened earlier today and this week, Mike?
Yeah. So we can, now that we have a few minutes, we see the girls making their way there. I can let you know that the girls' high jump in fourth place was Miranda Guerrero out of EdCouch Chelsea. In third place was Diera Howard out of Brownsville Lopez. In second place was Vida Ibarra out of EdCouch Chelsea. And your first place winner with a jump of 5 feet 2 inches was Emily Jones out of Donna High School. In the girls' pole vault, in fourth place, we had Angeles de la Cruz out of Donna. In third place is Jennifer Cruz out of EdCouch Chelsea. As a matter of fact, Joe, the top three are from EdCouch Chelsea. That's probably why they were able to rack up 80-some points. But in second place was Jacqueline Medina out of EdCouch Chelsea. And your first place winner with a jump of 10 feet 6 inches was Haley Guzman out of EdCouch Chelsea.
Haley Guzman is one of those young ladies that we're calling her name a lot tonight. She anchored both those relays a little while ago, if I'm not mistaken. I know she anchored the 4x100 meter relay. I'll just double check on that. Yeah, she did anchor the 4x1, and did she anchor the 4x2? She did not. She didn't even participate in that one. But that's a name that we've mentioned quite a bit. But I do know, she is one of these better athletes from the EdCouch Elsa squad. And they're full of athletes, As you mentioned, the other young lady, the Areli young lady, who is also being looked at.
And we move on to the girls' long jump. We have in fourth place was Jamie Flores out of Mercedes. Third place is Areli Vasquez out of EdCouch Chelsea. Second place is Cassandra Aguirre out of Brownsville Lopez. And your first place winner with a jump of 16 feet 8 inches is Samara. Once again, I'm having a little problem pronouncing her name. Samaria Gonzalez out of Donna High School.
Another talented athlete that we've called her name out quite a bit tonight. The girls are on the track, and we are just moments away from getting this one started. We saw a couple of young ladies say, you know what, I don't want the block. So the track officials on the field came and removed them off the track because, of course, as they finish, they will continue through those lanes. And we don't want any obstacles where somebody might trip over and fall because you're exhausted after this one. So you want to make sure they take out anything that might be of any hindrance or cause an injury to any one of our athletes. So the young ladies are in the blocks, and the gun is up. Gun has sounded. It's a good, clean start for the girls. 400-meter dash. And in lane 4, it's Emily Jones, and she's already made up the stagger. She's already out in front of everybody. And I don't think she will be contested in this one. She's already going to make the stagger on the young lady out in lane 7, Leslie Ortiz. And she has. So here comes Emily Jones in lane 4, and she is in first place. And we'll see her coming down the stretch. And in lane 3, it's going to be Melody Herrera, the young lady you were talking about, Mike. She is in second place, followed by Judith Gomez, both of Weslaco East. So it could be a Donna Weslaco East finish. The young lady from Brownsville Porter in lane 7 is trying to finish strong. So it's going to be Donna Weslaco East and Porter. So it's going to be Emily Jones, Melody Herrera, Leslie Ortiz, and I think Judith Gomez may have finished 4th.
Yeah, great job there by Jones. Pretty much after the first, 100 meters, she pretty much dominated the rest and just separated herself. And hey, how about props to Melody Herrera overcoming that hamstring injury, and she's even wearing, what would you call that, like a little cast, a little protection?
Yeah, it's going to be either some kind of tape or some kind of just, I don't know what the material is, but it just really keeps that muscle warm.
Kind of massages it a little bit.
And yeah, and really keeps you from really overextending as well.
Right, yeah. Especially something like the hamstring, you want to be as careful as can be. And she did a great job there, finishing second place, a strong second place, because even though Jones finished in first place easily, I tell you what, there wasn't a whole lot of room that Melody left behind in second place. I mean, that was pretty much no doubt. Mm-hmm. You know, for second place or advancing to area. Yeah.
So we're sending 2 young ladies in the 400 to area because it looked like Judith Gomez finished 4th. So the boys are next. So let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments for the boys. We gave you the athletes a little while ago. But let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments. In lane 1 from Brownsville Pace, Gael Perez. In lane 2 from Donna, Javier Rodriguez. In lane 3, Natani Collins from Edcouch Chelsea. In lane 4, Chris Ortiz from Brownsville Porter. Lane 5, Evan Mascorro, Weslaco East. Lane 6, Mark Zamorano from Donna. In lane 7, Marquise Clower from Mercedes. And in lane 8, Adrian Garcia from Edcouch Elsa. Chris Ortiz from Porter comes in with the best time of 50.44. That's the young man that ran that great leg in the 4x200 meter relay for Brownsville Porter that really got them into that race. So we're going to keep an eye on that young man because he really showed some strength and some speed. And of course, Natani Collins, he finished a very strong 800 meter run a little while ago. I don't remember what place he finished in, but I want to say he is going to area in that event. And then of course the young man from Weslaco East, Evan Mascorro, he's a guy that we need to keep an eye on as well. So this is going to be a very good race, Mike.
Yeah, and I don't think Evan ran in the 800 meter.
No,
I remember Coach Evans telling me Coach Owens telling me that there's a possibility he wasn't going to run, and he didn't. So Evan has to feel pretty refreshed coming into this race, that's for sure.
So the gun is up. The young men are in their blocks. They have started, and it's a good start. In lane 4 is Chris Ortiz from Porter, and he's already beginning to distance himself as he has really made a difference between him and Collins, and he's already made up some space on Mascorro. So it's Collins and Ortiz and Mascorro in this one right now. And it's going to be Chris Ortiz coming out of the turn, followed by Mascorro. Ortiz from Porter, Mascorro from East. and we'll see how strong they can finish this one. And it looks like Mark Zamorano from Donna is making his way into third. And here comes Collins from Ed Couch Elsa. I was a little concerned about him as he was beginning to fall behind. And he ran the 800 earlier.
Yeah, I was looking at the finish there, and it's going to be close between Ed Cauchosa and Donna. Let's see how the results finish. But, I mean, it looked like the Collins might have been able to
snubbed him out
at
the end.
With his head, I think he stuck his head down.
Because he came on strong at the end. Because Mascorro was looking strong as he made his turn. And here comes a replay. So this is Ortiz. And there is no doubt Ortiz and Mascorro were going to finish first and second. But look at Collins really dig deep there. You can see him at your bottom of your screen. Now we kind of zoned him out just to focus on the winner here. But here comes Mascorro.
Here we go.
And then there, Mascorro and Collins, it was close. I can't even tell right there. But for sure, we know Ortiz got first. And, of course, Mascorro from Weslaco KWES got second, but Zamorano from Donna and Collins from Ed Couch, third and fourth, is going to be tough.
And while we wait, I do have the results of the girls' 400-meter dash. In fourth place was Judith Gomez out of Weslaco East. You mentioned her.
And she's on the podium right now?
She's on the podium right now as they're handing out the medals. And in third place is Leslie Ortiz out of Brownsville Porter. You see her there. And in second place is Melody Herrera out of Weslaco East. And your first place winner is Emily Jones out of Donna High School with a time of 59.92.
Mike, do you have the points there on the bottom?
According to the results here, Ed Cauchosa has 140 points in first place. Second place is Donna High School with 101 points. And in third place is Brownsville Lopez with 63.50. And in fourth place is Mercedes with 60.
Nice. And now the boys will come up next as they will get them set to get up on that podium. But I think we've already got the results.
Yes, we do. The result of the boys' 400-meter dash in fourth place was Nathani Collins out of Ed Cauchosa with a time of 53.83. And in the third place was Mark Zamorano out of Donna High School, 53.80. So that young man from Donna was, at the very, very end, was able to just sneak in there. And I think he was the one that put his head down.
Just hold him off.
And just hold him off. And in second place was Evan Mascorro out of Weslaco East with a time of 52.83. And your first place winner out of Brownsville Porter High School is Chris Ortiz with a time of 51.97.
We are going to move to the boys and girls 300-meter hurdles, and they're getting those hurdles set up, and we'll come back to that in just a second. But let's go ahead and go over some more. Give us the boys' totals, and then we'll do some field events as well.
Yes, according to these results, after 13 events, Donna High School is in first place with 110 points, followed by Mercedes High School with 89, Weslaco East with 62 points, and in fourth place is Ed Cauchosa. So Weslaco East is doing pretty well in this year. You know, as young as they are, they're doing a good job. And Donna's just,
they're beginning to make their way up that.
They're beginning to separate themselves a little bit there. But yes, as far as the field events are concerned, let's move on to the triple jump here that took place earlier today. In fourth place was Areli Vasquez out of Ed Cauchosa. Boy, she's been pretty busy. And in third place is Cristina Hernandez out of Ed Cauchosa. And in second place is Samaraya Gonzalez out of Donna. And your first place winner with a jump of 34 feet, 3.50 inches is Jamie Flores out of Mercedes. And then in the girls' shot put, in fourth place is Ixamena Puente out of Mercedes. And in third place was Kaylee Trantham out of Ed Cauchosa. And in second place is Amaya Guerra out of Donna. And in your first place winner with a throw of 34 feet, 9.50 inches is Chantel Pena out of Brownsville Lopez.
Wow, nice throw. Well, the girls' 300-meter hurdles will be run first. But before we do that, let's recap the 4-meter dash as we now have that on the screen, Mike.
From Brownsville Pace, Gael Perez.
400-meter dash for the boys.
From Donna High School, Javier Rodriguez.
Yeah. We just we made the announcement. It was Chris Ortiz out of Brownsville Porter.
Yeah, they now got him on the screen.
They got him on the screen now. Yeah.
From Donna
Yeah, he finished with a time of 51.97. A little bit slower than his preliminary time,
Weslaco East,
but still did a great job there.
And the young man you were talking about earlier, Mike Mascorro, who opted to not run that 800 to be a little fresher for that 400, and it looked like it paid off.
Yeah, it did. It did. He did a great job running that race.
So congratulations to those young men, and we now head on over to the 300-meter hurdle girls division. In lane 1 for Mercedes is going to be Kayleen Williams Rosales. In lane 2 out of Dana, Aika Garza. In lane 3, also of Mercedes, Leah Adame. In lane 4, Cristina Hernandez of Idcal Chelsea. In lane 5, Madison Brock out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In lane 6, Maya Gomez, Weslaco East. In lane 7, Daniela Animas, also of Weslaco East. And in lane 8, Alma Lopez of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Idcal Chelsea's Cristina Hernandez, best time coming into the finals tonight, 48.28, followed by Madison Brock out of Veterans Memorial, 50.82, and Leah Adame with a 53.95. So again, we continue to hear names of athletes that we've already heard before, Mike.
Yeah, that's over 2 seconds in the prelims of Christina, ahead of Madison Brock there in the prelims. So I mean, on paper, Christina looks pretty good in this race, but as we've seen before, that's why
you run it.
You run it because you never know. I mean, we've already had a runner that was in lane 7 that finished like in the top 2, top 3. So anything can happen. But once again, Idcal Chelsea, the favorite to do well.
So here we go. They are now sending them to their blocks. The girls' 300-meter hurdles. And they are getting ready. This will be followed by the boys. The gun is up, and it's a good, clean start. And first at the hurdles is Cristina Hernandez of Idcal. She's already surpassed the young lady in lane 5, Madison Brock. And she is the first over the third hurdle, and she's coming around the turn. And this one, barring any miscues, is Cristina Hernandez's race. She's way ahead of the pack. And here comes Madison Brock making a move. And in third place so far is Leah Adame of Mercedes. So it's going to be Hernandez, Brock, and Adame in the girls' 300-meter hurdle. Here comes Hernandez finishing strong. A sub-50 race for her. So good finish there from Cristina Hernandez. Madison Brock in second place, and then followed by Leah Adame in third. Those are the unofficial results from what we could tell from up here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Joe, it looked like she finished under 50 seconds, which is what she came in with the preliminary, but just unlike other races, this is more rhythm involved there. You can kind of tell the way she was running, and she was just kind of timing it after each hurdle there, and did a great job there. Nice, clean run. Nice rhythm, and that's all you can ask for, especially when she took the lead.
Very strong. And here she comes on replay as she comes down the home stretch. She...
Did you see her accelerate there? It's just all rhythm. You can kind of tell that she's kind of counting in her mind of exactly when and where she was going to jump the hurdle there.
And there she goes across the finish line again in first, followed by the young lady from Brownsville Veterans, that is Madison Brock, and then, of course, Mercedes Tiger, Leah Adame, finishing in third. So great finish there, great race there by the girls. And now it's the boys' turn. And it's going to be in lane 1 out of Weslaco East, Jonathan Munoz. In lane 2 out of KWES, Jonathan Lugo. In lane 3, Nathan Herrera from Brownsville Pace. In lane 4, Francisco Contreras from Dana. In lane 5, Aiden Hernandez from Pace. In lane 6, Joe Michael Reyna from Veterans Memorial. In lane 7, Daniel Delgado from Brownsville Pace. And in lane 8, Ramiro Flores from Brownsville Veterans Memorial. So Brownsville Pace with 3 athletes here in the finals: Nathan Herrera, Aiden Hernandez, and Daniel Delgado. But the person with the best time coming into the finals is going to be Francisco Contreras from Dana, 42.19. And Brownsville Pace has the next best 2 times in Nathan Herrera and Aiden Hernandez, both coming in with 43.4 and 43.3 respectively. So the young men have been sent to their blocks. We are just about to get underway in the boys' 300-meter hurdles. The gun is up. It has sounded, and we've got a good, clean start.
At this time,
Contreras is over the first hurdle in first place, and he's already made up the stagger on the young man on the outside of him, which is going to be Aiden Hernandez. So here comes Contreras from Dana. And a young man had a little miscue, and that's Pace's guy in lane number 5, Aiden Hernandez, who fell. And he's trying to come back strong, but Contreras in first place. And at the top of your screen, Joe Michael Reyna from Veterans in second, and a strong finish from Lugo from KWES. So it's Contreras. And then it's going to be Reyna. And from what I could tell, looked like Lugo in third place from KWES.
And it's good to see, Joe, that the young man from Brownsville Pace, even though he fell down, and that was unfortunate, he got right back up and still ran the race and finished, he still finished the race, and that's all you can ask for. But great job there by Contreras. And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but when I was watching this young man, it seemed to me like he was using his upper body or his hips area to kind of run forward or run faster. I mean, what do you think? I was just kind of watching him, and it just the way he was swinging his arms and just the way he was moving, it looked like that helped him with his rhythm.
Well, as you mentioned a lot tonight about when it comes to hurdles, a lot of it is with rhythm. When of course I never ran the hurdles, but from the other guys that ran the hurdles, they were all about counting the steps in between hurdles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they on different events, depending on the 300 or the 100. They were alternating legs, 1, 2, 3, jump,
right.
1, 2, 3, 5, jump. And I'm not sure if maybe Contreras might have some kind of calf or ankle injury, because one of them seems to be taped up.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. But yeah, I noticed in the hurdles, on one of them, they'll jump with the right leg, and in the other one, they'll jump with their left leg. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying. It's all about rhythm, and then they kind of count in their heads. But, I was just curious about that. But nevertheless, he still finished in first place and ran a great race.
He did run a great race. And that just, again, I'm not sure if maybe he does have some kind of injury, but I did know that he did have extra tape on one of his legs. And so, if he's got some kind of injury, all kudos go to him for, being able to just get beyond that and finish in first place. So a good race there by Francisco Contreras out of Dana. And so you've got some more results, Mike.
As a matter of fact, Joe, I got the results of the race we just finished right now, and that's the boys' 300-meter hurdles. In fourth place was Nathan Herrera out of Brownsville Pace. In third place is Jonathan Lugo out of KWES. In second place is Joe Michael Reyna out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And as we mentioned, the first place winner with a time of 42.66 is Francisco Contreras out of Dana.
So not too much difference between his prelim time and his final time. Still ran a 42. So good race there, girls and boys. And we are now going to move forward to the 200-meter dash.
6 finishers.
So while we wait for that, Mike, you want to recap the girls' 300-meter hurdles, because they're going to put them on the podium, and our cameras are going that way.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, That's what we'll do right now. The results of the girls 300-meter hurdles. In fourth place is Aisha Garza out of Donna High School, as we see her there receiving her medal. In third place was Leah Adame out of Mercedes High School. Great job by the young lady. Second place is Madison Brock out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial High School. She ran a time of 51.10. In first place is Christina Hernandez out of Edcal Chelsea High School with a time of 49.39. She was the only one that ran under 50 seconds. Even though it was a little bit higher than her prelims, she still did a great job there in finishing under 50 seconds there. We see the top four finishers there.
That will be going on to the area round. So the girls 200-meter dash is next.
For the boys 300
In lane 1, Cassidy Cantu of Mercedes. In lane 2, Haley Guzman from Edcal Chelsea. In lane 3, Alondro Calzada of Veterans Memorial in Brownsville. Lane 4, Jamie Flores from Mercedes. Lane 5, Areli Vasquez of Edcal Chelsea. Lane 6, Caitlin Vasquez of Brownsville Pace. Lane 7, Glenda Rodriguez of Brownsville Pace. And in lane 8, Leslie, wait, what did I say? Glenda Rodriguez of Brownsville Pace. In lane 8, Leslie Ortiz of Brownsville Porter. And we will wait for the results of the boys 300-meter hurdles. I know Mike has already shared those with you, but we'll give them a few seconds as they make their way down to the podium. And as we wait for that, I'll give you, or do we have some more field events, Mike?
Oh, yes. On the girls, discus throw, fourth place was Kaylee Trantham out of Edcal Chelsea. In third place is Ixaima Puente out of Mercedes. I hope I said her name right. It's spelled Ximena. Ximena. Okay. My apologies. Ximena Puente.
We had a young lady with a name close to that on our Weslaco High team.
Okay.
Shomara. So,
okay.
And it was spelled almost the same way. So I'm going to throw a wild guess, and it's Ximena.
Ximena. I'll take your word for it. In second place is Chantel Peña out of Brownsville Lopez. And your first place winner with a throw of 1:30.05 is Kayla Olguin out of Brownsville Lopez.
So Brownsville Lopez with a couple of top 2 finishers there.
And then in the 3,200-meter run, Joe, we haven't announced that one yet either. On the girls' side, fourth place was Juliana Rositel out of Brownsville Pace. In third place is Miranda Guerrero out of Edcal Chelsea. In second place is Naia Gracia out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a time of 1:56.15 is Rebecca Davila out of Edcal Chelsea.
Good job there.
And there we have a look at Francisco Contreras there. No shades on him. He's just going to get his medal and stand on that podium proudly.
Great job there. 300-meter hurdle boys division. Really good race run by those young men. So we wait for the girls. Did you have the 3,200-meter boys division?
Yes, I do. In fourth place was Matthew Garcia out of Edcal Chelsea. Third place is Isaiah Hernandez out of Mercedes. Second place is James Puckett out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a time of 9:39.64 is Kevin Hernandez out of Donna. He easily won that race, Joe. In second place, James Puckett, he finished with 10:13.96. So very impressive.
Almost
very impressive race.
40-second differential there.
Wow.
And I want to say that top 2 finish in the 3,200 was the same top 2 finish in the 800.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in talking to that young man from Brownsville Veterans, he kind of looked up to Kevin a little bit. I mean, not so much as a rival, but just, you know what, that's the guy that I need to keep my eye on as far as competition is concerned. I remember in the Jimmy Platt when you and I were talking and when you were running, that for you guys it was that young man from Rio Grande City.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how he looked at it as well. I mean, just following him all year long, that's kind of how he measured himself, knowing that that's the competition right there. I mean, it's more of a respecting than anything.
Once again, we are just about to get started in the 200-meter dash girls division. Cassidy Cantu, lane 1.
Everyone
Haley
on the
Guzman, lane
infield
2.
down on
Alondra
the
Calzada,
infield
lane
for
3.
the
Jamie
start
Flores,
of
lane
the
4.
200
Areli
meter
Vasquez,
dash.
lane 5. Caitlin Vasquez, lane 6. Glenda Rodriguez, lane 7. Leslie Ortiz in lane 8. Jamie Flores comes in with the best time of 24.88, and she is out of Mercedes. Areli Vasquez has the second best time from Edcal Chelsea, 26.4. And Alondra Calzada with the third best time from Veterans Memorial out of Brownsville, 26.5. And so they've now sent them over into the blocks. And so we'll wait for the starter to get them set. But he does not quite have everybody ready yet.
Second call for the
There's a
1600-meter relay.
Clarification
Correction.
being sought
Second
out
call
from what
for the
I'm looking
1600-meter
for
run.
or looking at from up
Second
here.
call for the 1600-meter run. Boys
I think they've got it
and
all
girls.
squared away because the starter is getting ready to get them going. So he's asking everybody to get to their lanes now. So again, lanes 3, 4, and 5 with the best times. But let's not forget that we've got a couple of really good athletes on this track. One of the one that Mike was talking about earlier was that young lady from Edcouch, Areli Vasquez, who's been talking to the track team from UTRGV.
And as we know, Joe, UTRGV has a very good
Yes.
track and field program over there. I remember attending school over there in the late 90s into the 2000s. They had some really good quality runners there. And over the years, they've developed really good athletes over there in that program.
That is for sure.
We need everyone down in the infield, please, for the start of this race. Everyone down on the infield, please, for the start of this race.
I laugh on the inside, Mike, because I was looking down at the infield when the public address announcer asked everybody to please go down. Some of these kids just flopped. You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah.
Gotta love the energy of these young boys and girls here. They are set, gun is up, and a good, clean start. Jamie Flores in lane 4 from Mercedes with the best time, and she is showing you why. She's already made up the stagger and is coming around the turn in first place. So this is going to be Flores, and it's going to be Areli Vasquez from Edcal Chelsea coming on strong, but I'm not sure if she can catch her. But she is making a go for it. But Flores is going to finish first, followed by Vasquez. And then it is going to be third place. Look like it's going to be Alondra Calzada. But a good job by Flores to start strong and finish strong. But Areli Vasquez kind of gave her a run for the money there at the end. Last 50 meters looked like she was coming on, but just did not have enough. And Flores did have enough to keep her at bay.
Yeah, you wonder if Flores had eyes behind her head or something. I mean, just it kind of felt like she anticipated Vasquez coming right behind her. And when it looked like Vasquez was going to make a move, Flores just kind of turned it up a little bit more there toward the end. Did a great job in that finish and held off Vasquez there for the first place finish.
Yeah, good job there. Flores, Vasquez, Calzada, 1, 2, and 3. And now it's going to be the boys division. In lane 1 from Mercedes, Luis Piñon. In lane 2 from Dana, Marcos Mejia. In lane 3 from Edcal Chelsea, Manny Hernandez. Lane 4, Austin Davila of Mercedes. Lane 5, Terrell Trevino, also of Mercedes. Lane 6, Michael McHale from Veterans Memorial. In lane 6, Jesus Coelho from Pace. Lane 7, Jacob Cortinas of Lopez. Mercedes with 3 participants here in this one with a chance to come away with some pretty big points as they bring in the top 2 finishers so far in Austin Davila, 22.1, Terrell Trevino, 22.3. And then, of course, in the third best qualifying time comes from Edcal Chelsea, Manny Hernandez, 22.3 as well. So this is going to setting up to be a good race.
Yeah, and looking at it from top to bottom, Joe, I mean, you look at the top time there and then the one with the, how would you say it, the 8th fastest or 8th best there. It's only a second or a little over a second there. So this is really anybody's race from top to bottom.
Yeah, on paper, 1.2 seconds
Yeah.
is a differential from the best time to, and I hate to say it, the worst time. You know what I mean? Because it really is not bad. So the young men have been sent to their
Everybody
lanes.
down on the infield, please.
Yeah, that's why I was saying 8th best. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure how to say it, but I mean,
Neither
it's,
was I, but
Right.
even at that, and there really is nothing negative the way we put it there because it is very close.
It's very, very close there. So this could be one of the better races that we've had all day.
Yeah, well, we had a good boys 100 meter not too long ago, and this one is setting itself up to be just as good, if not maybe even better.
Let's find out.
We will shortly, because the gun is up. So here we go, the boys 200 meter dash. Gun is off, and it's a clean start. And the young man from Donna in lane 2 is off to a good start. And here comes Davila and Trevino. Davila finishing strong. Trevino was ahead of him, but Davila just overtook him as he had another gear. But look at Hernandez from Edcal Chelsea. It is Davila, Hernandez, Trevino. Trevino right around the 120 to 140 meter mark looked like he was ahead, but then Davila just seemed to pop it into 6th gear, and he took over the race from there on out.
Yeah, Davila was the young man that Coach Galvan was talking to me about before the meet, that he's one of their top runners, and you see there his explosion there, especially in the last 100 meters of this race, the way he was able to take over the race and finish strong there. And the young man from Edcal Chelsea was right behind him. You see there in the replay, a great job there by Davila. Just that explosion toward the end, and put his head down there. And yeah, we got Mercedes finishing 2 of the top 3 runners there.
So that's going to be some good points there. I don't know if it's going to be enough to catch Donna,
Followed by the boys.
but some good points there as I think they're going to get points from all 3 finishers. Because I want to say the other young man from Mercedes, Luis Piñon, may have finished in 5th, maybe 6th. But it looks like they're gonna rack up some pretty good points here in the 200 meter dash, and they're getting ready to send the girls up to the podium, Mike, for the girls 200 meter dash.
I'm just kind of waiting so that we can say their names while they're giving them the medal there. So let's see if they do that in the next few seconds or so.
Yeah, while they do that, let me just let you know that the next event is going to be the 1,600 meter run, girls and boys division, girls first and boys second. So that'll be right after the announcement of the medal winners for the girls 200, followed by the boys 200 meter dash. So there's the camera down there. So we'll await the award folks that are going to be handing out the hardware. But the girls are already in their spots.
Yeah, they're in their spots, ready to go up in the podium there, receive their medals. And you see the district championship trophies back there, Joe, underneath the table. Those are going to be given to the first place winner of the boys division and the girls division.
So while we wait, let's go ahead and start giving you the names of the participants in the girls 1,600 meter run. Naya Gracia, who won earlier today, followed by, and she's out of Brownsville Veterans, Rebecca Davila of Edcal Chelsea, Miranda Guerrero of Edcal Chelsea, Taya Martinez of Weslaco East, Raven Osuna of Weslaco East, Liliana Cuna Dana, Summer Ramirez Dana, Zoe Cepeda Edcal Chelsea, Marely Cuellar Weslaco East, Randy Lara Mercedes, Erica Ochoa Mercedes, and I'll give it back to you, Mike.
Okay, here we go. 4th place winner was Caitlin Vasquez out of Brownsville Pace. We see the 5th place winner out of Mercedes there. But yes, your 4th place winner was Caitlin Vasquez out of Brownsville Pace. She had a time of a 28.56. And in 3rd place was Alondra Calzada out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And in second place is a young lady that's been busy all day long, is Arely Vasquez out of Calzada. And your first place winner out of Mercedes High School is Jamie Flores. She ran a time of a 26.56.
Congratulations to those young ladies. And as you mentioned, Mike, those top 4 finishers will go on to the area round. Let me go ahead and just run down the last few participants in the girls' 1,600-meter run, and then we will continue. Eileen Campos of Dana, Sofia Torres of Mercedes, Silvana Lopez, Brownsville Veterans, Caitlin Barrios, Brownsville Veterans, Zaylet Landeros of Brownsville Porter, and Juliana Rosetier of Brownsville Pace.
And according to the scores here after 15 events, Calzada has 158 points, and this is the girls' side, 158 points. And in second place is Donna High School with 105 points, followed by Mercedes and Brownsville Lopez, third and fourth place. So Calzada is still holding on strong there.
And it doesn't look like they're letting up either.
The 1,600-meter run, that's 4 laps.
Yes,
correct?
That is 4 laps. And I was joking with Carlos earlier because before the program went on live, there was stuff going on, obviously, because we've been talking about that. But the girls' 3,200-meter winner had a time of 11 minutes. And 3,200 meters is 8 laps. That's 2 miles.
Yeah, that's 2 miles.
And I was joking with Carlos, telling him I can barely run 1 mile in 11 minutes, and these young ladies ran 2 miles in 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I mean, my gosh,
the boys ran 9 minutes. You talked about that a little while ago. Kevin Hernandez, really good time from that young man.
Yeah, and we're kind of at that age where if we can run 2 miles, period. We don't care what time that is. It can take an hour for all we care.
A day.
A day.
But yeah, great job there. And again, the Naya Gracia, if I'm not mistaken, won the 800 earlier. And she was from start to finish. And she's about to get ready to run the 1,600-meter run in just a few seconds or a few minutes here. They're not on the track just yet. I think they're waiting for the final results of the boys 200-meter dash, and we'll get to those as soon as they get them ready to be on the podium. Go ahead.
Well, while we have a few minutes, Joe, I'll give some more results of the fielding events earlier. On the boys high jump, we have fourth place. As I need to turn the page here real quick. But in fourth place was Kenneth Davis out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In third place is Jediah Revens out of Weslaco East. And in second place is Gerardo Gomez out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a jump of 5 feet 10 inches is David Clower out of Mercedes High School. So congratulations to those young men. We move on to the boys pole vault. In fourth place is Emiliano Martinez Lopez out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In third place is Daniel Delgado out of Brownsville Pace. In second place is Daniel Hinojosa out of Calzada. Your first place winner with a jump of 13 feet 6 inches is Marco de los Rios out of Dana High School. So congratulations to those young men. We move on to the boys long jump. In fourth place is David Clower out of Mercedes High School. In third place is Francisco Contreras out of Dana High School. In second place, top 2 finishers were actually both from Mercedes. Austin Davila was your second place finish. And in your first place was Tyrell Trevino with a jump of 20 feet 3 inches is out of Mercedes High School's Tyrell Trevino. So congratulations to him as they move on to the area round. And we have a look there of the young ladies making their move there to the starting line for the 1,600-meter run.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting them on the track already, Mike. So we're just moments away. And as we mentioned earlier, the participants, we gave you their names. So let's go ahead and give you a couple of the times of the top qualifiers. As we talked about earlier, Naya Gracia, already a gold medalist in the 800 earlier. She comes in with the best time in this event at 5:21. And that's an impressive time because the next closest participant comes in with a time of 5:33, followed by the next one at 5:51. And those are the two young ladies from Ed Couch Elsa, Rebecca Davila and Miranda Guerrero. So we'll wait and see how this one fares out. I do know that there were a few cancellations, as I don't know who they were, but there were a couple of scratches as the officials were talking about that, and I could overhear that conversation a little bit. But I couldn't tell you who they mentioned had scratched.
So in this, and as you mentioned, Joe, in the seating times, there's a pretty big gap between the first place winner, second place winner, but from third and on, it's pretty close.
Yeah. The rest of the pack should be pretty good. But, again, we saw earlier why Naya Gracia puts up these good times is because she's a good athlete. So Rebecca Davila out of Ed Couch Elsa seems to be jumping out in front of everyone as she looks like she wants to begin to set the pace. And, of course, Gracia is right behind her in second place. And Raven Osuna from Weslaco East is in there as well as we get things started here in lap number 1 of the girls' 1,600-meter run.
I'm not sure, but have I announced the boys' 200-meter dash results yet?
I'm not sure either, but go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it anyway if we have or not. But in fourth place was a Jesus Soelo out of Brownsville Pace. In third place was a Tyrell Trevino out of Mercedes. Second place is a Manny Hernandez out of Ed Couch Elsa. And your first place winner with a time of 22.98 is Austin Davila out of Mercedes High School. And according to the results here after 15 events, Donna has a lead 122 points. Mercedes not that far behind with 106. Pretty close. Followed by Ed Couch Elsa with 72. So it looks like it's going to come down to Donna
and Mercedes. Yeah, and, we're not sure about what the boys' 1,600-meter looks like, the run. But if Mercedes can get a couple of points, but I'm looking at the names on the 1,600-meter run, and there's a young man from Donna by the name of Kevin Hernandez there. So that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, he's the young man that's been dominating South Texas this year.
Yes,
so that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, so it's going to – I don't think Mercedes is going to have a chance if Kevin walks away with the gold there to catch them because even with a win in the 1,600-meter relay, I don't think it'll be enough to overtake Donna. So it looks like Donna, from what we're looking preliminary-wise, is going to be your district champion. Of course, Ed Couch Elsa looks like they're going to be the district champion on the girls' side. So speaking of Ed Couch Elsa, their distance runner, Rebecca Davila, is setting the pace here in the 1,600-meter run. Naya Gracia is right behind her in second place, but it's about a 30-meter difference between those two as we're finishing up lap 2. So Davila in first place is setting the pace for this 1,600-meter run, and they have begun lap 3. Gracia is in second place. In third place is the young lady from Donna.
And if you notice, Joe, we see a lot of the athletes out there trying to encourage their teammates and their runners to, hustle or, they're just trying to give them some motivation. We usually see that in the 1,600-meter runs because it's 4 laps.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and a lot of it is mental. And remember, some of these girls have already run in the 800. Some of these girls have already run in that 4x200. So this is not their first race, and they're not, really coming off as fresh as you would like them to be. And so they've got to dig deep and to finish strong here in this one. So again, Davila up in first place, followed by Gracia. And they are coming around the turn here as they complete lap number 3.
So for some of these athletes, they run up to what, like altogether, what would you say, like maybe 8 miles perhaps?
Not
If
that
you include-
many.
Not that many?
Not that many.
Maybe like
That-
6, 7 perhaps?
Maybe
If you include the
maybe
400s.
6.
Maybe 6.
And that's pushing it.
That's pushing it. And well, I mean,
Wait, I'm sorry. This is 2 miles, 3
Right.
miles. So maybe 4.
Maybe 4.
4.
and then don't forget, they also warm up.
Yeah.
So they also run there.
Yeah.
So a lot of running.
A lot of conditioning to get to this point.
Absolutely.
But Davila up on top as we enter the final lap, and she's got a good 50, maybe 60-meter lead on top of Gracia. So that is pretty impressive so far, the run that Davila has been producing. So here she comes in the last 250 meters of this race. And she has got a good 40-meter lead on Gracia as she makes the last turn here at about the 200-meter mark. And I don't think Gracia will catch her in the last 200 meters. So it's Davila, Gracia, and I think it's going to be Liliana Acuna from Donna in third.
So at this point, you know, Davila's going to win the race. So in her mind, she's just probably trying to say to herself, you know, finish strong, finish with the best time possible.
And she's going to improve her time in this race.
She came in, what?
5:33.
5:33.75.
But she's already slowed down a little bit, so she might come in about the same time. So it's going to be Davila, Gracia, and maybe Acuna from Donna in third. So there is Gracia finishing second. And here comes the lady from Weslaco East taking over. That is Raven Osuna finishing third as she comes on strong to take over Acuna. And Acuna will finish fourth. So a good finish here. And here comes another young lady from Donna finishing strong. And that is Summer Ramirez. Good finish there as these athletes continue to finish strong and just try to leave everything out on the track.
And that's all you can do at this point. Just finish the race.
Yes. And good, strong finishes here from these young ladies. So, again, it's going to be Davila, Gracia, Osuna,
Second call,
and
1600 meter
Acuna
relay.
are the top 4
Girls
finishers
followed by
as
the
far as what
boys.
I've got
Second call,
on my paper.
1600
And for some of
meter
these
relay.
young
Girls
ladies, Joe,
followed by the boys.
they're trying to surpass their personal best time. They're not worried about finishing in the top 4, top 5, or anything like that. They're just, you know what, let me see if I can beat my personal best time.
Yes. Yeah, because you always want to improve. You always want to improve week in and week out. And, of course, you know, the talk is always about peaking now. You want to peak at district, and you want to carry that the next couple of weeks into area regionals and state. So if you can keep that right now, that's where you want to be. Because, you know, as we saw earlier, you know, we had seen some times that were a little slower a couple of weeks ago, even a month ago. So here comes the finish. And again, this is Davila out of Edcow Chelsea. Maybe some technical difficulties. Well, there we're going to zoom into her on the track, smiling, you know, and you think about this, you know, running hard 4 laps and to be standing and smiling.
And you know what, Joe? They don't have a scoreboard like we do. Not to disrespect the other schools, but I mean, we are proud of the scoreboard we have. And so when we have these athletes that come from out of town, especially their neighboring communities like Edcow Chelsea, that they probably drive by here and they say to themselves, golly, I wish I could come out of that scoreboard. And boom,
There you are.
Here you are. This is the opportunity. And you can tell how happy they are just to be a part of this.
And there's another replay of Davila finishing in first place. And again, she started off in first, set the pace, and just finished strong. And she kept herself in front of Gracia the entire race. So good job, Davila Gracia. And then again, as I mentioned, Osuna with a very strong finish. The young lady from Weslaco East to take over Acuna from Donna to finish third. And, of course, Donna's Acuna finishing in fourth. So let's go ahead and give you the participants as we wait for the final results of the girls' 1,600-meter run. Let's give you the participants of the boys' 1,600-meter run. It's going to be Kevin Hernandez out of Donna High School, James Puckett out of Veterans Memorial, Brownsville, Isaiah Hernandez of Mercedes, Matthew Garcia, Edcal Chelsea, Reese Leon out of Veterans Memorial in Brownsville, Eric Davis, Weslaco East, Esteban Torres, Veterans Memorial, Brandon Anciso, Weslaco East, Damian Fuentes, Donna, Jay Gonzalez, Mercedes, Ryan Trevino, Mercedes, Josue Hernandez, Donna, Elijah Cantu, Edcal Chelsea, Jesus Herrera, Edcal Chelsea, Samuel De La Torre, Weslaco East, and Julio Velasco out of Brownsville, Lopez. So those are the participants in the boys' 1,600-meter run, and they've got them on the track. So we are just moments away from getting this race underway. So again, the top times in this contest as they came in. Kevin Hernandez with the best time, 4:23, and that's 17 seconds better than the next guy, and that's James Puckett out of Veterans Memorial in Brownsville. And, of course, those two guys are the two guys that finished first and second in the 800 just a little while ago. So, again, you know, these two young men are going to get after it again, toe-to-toe, stride per stride in this one.
Yeah, this is the race that Coach Owens was telling me about with Eric Davis, that this is a great test for him. Going up against that kind of competition.
Good, clean start.
And as a matter of fact, Joe, Eric Davis in cross country defeated both Matt and James in cross country. But this is different. It's a long distance event. However, he does have that experience to fall back on.
Hernandez has already got himself out in front and is setting the pace. And his teammate in Josue Hernandez is in second place. So as they start this race, we're going to go ahead and let you give us the results that they just handed off to you.
Yes, I have the results of the girls' 1,600-meter run. In fourth place is Liliana Ocuna out of Donna High School. Third place is Raven Osuna out of Weslaco East. Second place is Anaya Gracia out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a time of 5:33.08, which is very close to her preliminary time, is Rebecca Davila out of Edcal Chelsea. And after 16 events, Edcal Chelsea with 170 points. In second place, Donna High School with 110 points. So we see the Yellow Jackets separating themselves a little bit more there, Joe. And I also have results there. We were talking about the fielding events earlier. On the boys' side, the triple jump, in fourth place is Jediah Rivens. Is it Rivens? Rivens. Okay. I know he corrected me one time after the season, and I told him, I'm going to work on it, I promise.
Yeah,
so,
I know his mom, as she was one of my students a long time ago, and his mom's now an assistant principal. That just goes to show how old I'm getting. But yeah, she's the one. I actually asked her before the season started in basketball to give me the correct pronunciation, and it's Rivens.
Rivens, yes. And I'm gonna keep working on it because I have a feeling next year I'm going to forget. But I promise I will work on it. But nevertheless, great job by the young man. In third place is Chris Ortiz. We were talking about him earlier. Did a great job on the triple jump as well out of Brownsville Porter. In second place is Jonathan Munoz out of Brownsville Lopez. And your first place winner with a jump of 42 feet, 9.50 inches is Gerardo Gomez out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial High School. Congratulations. On the boys shot put, in fourth place is Daniel Perez out of Mercedes. In third place is George Munoz out of Edcal Chelsea. In second place is Brian Chavez out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner, Joe, way to go, David Trevino out of Weslaco East with a throw of 43 feet, 11.0 inches.
Yeah, David Trevino, Weslaco East. And he's going to go play college football. Good young man. Hernandez has been the leader from the get-go, and he's extended his lead. He's about 40 meters in front of the young man from Edcal Chelsea, Matt Garcia. So a good race here from Hernandez. And then, of course, like I said, Matt Garcia is in second place as they come around the turn to complete lap number 3. So it's going to be Garcia in second place. And here comes Puckett. He just overtook Garcia, and he's now in second place. So Puckett in second, Garcia in third. And we got a young man from Ed Couch. I'm sorry, not Ed Couch. Ed Couch is in third. That just got taken over. But we got the young man from Weslaco East. Eric Davis is making a move.
Yeah. Let's see if he can keep it up there. And, Coach Owens has to be very excited right now. I'm sure they're down there trying to encourage him and get him going.
And if he stays put, he's making area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to see if I wrote down what grade he's in. He might be a sophomore. Yeah, I think you're right, Joe.
I believe he's
only
a sophomore. So Hernandez continuing to push the pace here, followed by Puckett, Garcia, and Davis. And Davis looked like he wants to make a move on the young man Garcia from Ed Couch, and he's pulled to within 7 meters as he's at about the 200-meter mark. So this is going to be an interesting finish, and we're going to see what Davis has in the tank, the young sophomore. But it's going to be Hernandez from Donna who's going to finish with yet another gold medal for the Redskins. And it's going to be Puckett who's going to finish with another silver medal. But here comes Garcia and here comes Davis. Garcia has made a little bit of a move to try to finish strong. Davis is trying to dig deep and get up into that third place position, but it's not going to be able to, and he'll finish in fourth. So a good job there by Davis from Weslaco East. So it's going to be Kevin Hernandez of Donna, James Puckett of Veterans Memorial, followed by Matthew Garcia of Ed Couch Elsa, and Eric Davis of Weslaco East.
And I know what Coach Owens is saying right now. He's saying young man to Davis. He's saying young man. The ones that finish in front of you are the top 3 runners in the district, and they're all seniors, and they're going to move on to run at the next level. So he should be proud of his performance. I mean, we mentioned Puckett is moving to Rice University. He's moving on to Rice University on an academic scholarship, but nevertheless, what an outstanding job there by Davis in this race. He ran very, very well going up against some top-notch competition.
Watching the replay, getting a chance to watch Kevin Hernandez finish first yet again. That young man has put on a show here this weekend.
You see the young man, Garcia, finishing strong there, and then we see Davis.
Congratulations to all the top.
Yeah, Garcia wasn't going to allow Davis to beat him. So that was a good, strong finish from him.
And you see what we see there, Joe, on the camera work there is they're congratulating Hernandez there, but that was the assistant coach from Ed Couch-Elsa, and then that was Coach Davis from Weslaco East, all congratulating the young man from Donna there. So good sportsmanship.
Yeah, and it rightfully so, because I want to say that young man is finishing with 3 golds. At least so far that we've seen so far. So before we get to the announcements and the podium announcements, let's go ahead and let you know that our final event of the night is the girls and boys 4x400 meter relay. In lane 1 for the girls is Brownsville Lopez. Lane 2, Mercedes. Lane 3, Weslaco East. Lane 4, Ed Couch-Elsa. Lane 5, Donna. Lane 6, Veterans Memorial. Lane 7, Brownsville Pace. Lane 8, Brownsville Porter. And the individual participants from each squad for Brownsville Lopez is going to be Nereida de la O, Sonia Bautista, Sara de la Cerda, and Brianna Serna. For Mercedes, Leah Dame, Valeria Zamarripa, Serena Limas, Stephanie Cano. In lane 3, Weslaco East, Judith Gomez, Natalie Basan, Stephanie Mendoza, Melody Herrera. In lane 4, Ed Couch-Elsa, Robin Perez, Cristina Hernandez, Alexis Ramirez, Jasmine Mireles, Donna, Calista Nino, Liana Acuña, Madeline Park, and Emily Jones. Lane 6, Veterans Memorial, Sage Fernandez, Alma Lopez, Jennifer Jurado, Aurora Garcia. Lane 7, Pace, Catherine Raby, Laisha Abundis, Sandy Longoria, Valerie Ramos. And Brownsville Porter, Ariana Hernandez, Leslie Ortiz, Anita Rodriguez, and Jennifer Salazar.
So this is the 4x400.
400.
So that's one lap for each runner.
Each participant will run one lap. Ed Calchosa has the best time at 4:20,
Last and final
followed
call
by
for
Donna
the
at 4:25 and
1600
Weslaco East
relay
at
for the
4:25.
boys.
But
Last
listen
and
to
final
these
call for the
names
boys
with
for
Donna:
1600
Liliana
relay.
Acuna, Emily Jones. This is going to be a good race, Mike.
Yeah, Emily Jones is going to be the anchor.
Yes.
She'll be the anchor, and we've seen the talent that she has. And so, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Is because you got Eka Chelsea, you got Donna, you got Mercedes. Like, this is going to be a good one. And then don't forget Brownsville Pace. Brownsville Pace has had some good athletes as well.
Yeah. And then here's the other one I wanted to bring up. Weslaco East, Judith Gomez, Melody Herrera, and Stephanie Mendoza. Those are some good names on some good teams. So I'm looking forward to this one, Mike. This is going to be good. Lanes 3, 4, and 5, they sound really good when I look at those names individually on these teams.
And we've seen Natalie Bazan run well today. We've
Right.
seen Melody Herrera run well. Natalie is the only senior
Right.
for Weslaco East. So, and she'll be the second one. So, yeah, interesting strategy here. And hopefully the Lady Wildcats could put together a good race here against the strong Ecachelsa runners and Donna runners. And Brownsville veterans always have good runners. And Mercedes.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Like I said, those three middle lanes, Ed Calchosa, Weslaco East, and Donna. I'm looking forward to this race here, Mike. So they're getting their blocks out on the track as they get set for this one. And then, of course, the last race of the night will be the boys 4x400, Veterans Memorial, Mercedes, Porter, Ed Calchosa, Donna, Pace, and Weslaco East.
And being that this is the last race of the event, you know they're going to go all out. It's not like they have to think about another race or another event moving forward. This is it.
This is it for the weekend. This is it for my career. Because again, not everybody's advancing. And then again, of course, Ed Calchosa wants to finish strong because they lead point total wise, and so adding on to that would be really nice. But then again, like I said, Donna has had a couple of gold medal winners on this squad. Emily Jones being one of them, and I don't remember Liliana Acuna if she was the 800-meter runner that finished really strong as well. But then again, don't forget, like we talked about, Mike, Weslaco East, those are some names that have performed well here today. And they're young ones, too.
So at this point, it's fair to say a lot of the ones that are participating in this event are moving on to the area round individually. So now it's just, hey, let's finish strong. Let's finish the district meet on a high level and take something for the next meet.
Yeah, and not only that, but you always want to be on top of that podium. You always want to be, and of course, COVID has changed everything. Now they're just handing them the medals, but before they used to drape them over their neck. Remember?
Right.
They used to have
I remember
bend,
that,
and so that was just such a good feeling when they had to put that on you. So, but anyways, again, we're just in a different era, different time, but the excitement, the feeling of receiving a first place finish doesn't change. So we are heading to the blocks, and they are in their lanes already.
At this time, the top
Okay,
six
we've got a
finishers
delay. Something
of
just
the boys 1600 meter run.
got
Please report to the
set
podium
back
at this
for
time.
a little bit. So go ahead.
And while we have a few minutes, I'll announce the final fielding event of the afternoon was the boys discus throw. In fourth place was Juan Barrera out of Ecal Chelsea. In third place was Jeremy Hinojosa out of Donna. Second place is David Trevino out of Weslaco East. And your first place winner with a throw of 132 feet and 11 inches is Kevin Garcia out of Brownsville Pace. Congratulations to those young men. And in the 1600 meter run, in fourth place was Liliana Acuna out of Donna. In third place was Raven Osuna out of Weslaco East. In second place was Anaya Gracia out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. As we hear the gun sound for the for the race. And your first place winner was Rebecca Davila out of Edcal Chelsea with a time of 5:33.08.
Well, good clean start for the final race for the girls, a 4x400 meter relay. And in that middle lane is the team from Edcal Chelsea, and they've already made up the stagger, and that is Robin Perez with a good start for the Edcal Chelsea relay team. Out in lane number 5 is Donna. Lane 3 is Weslaco East, and they are right on the tail of the girl from Edcal Chelsea. Veterans Memorial with a good start as well. Sage Fernandez trying to finish off strong, but here comes Donna. Donna making a move. And also Weslaco East, Judith Gomez wants to finish strong as well. Remember, they are in the inside lane, so a little bit of a stagger as we get set to hand off the baton to the second leg of this one. And, of course, Edcal Chelsea, the first to take off with the baton, Cristina Hernandez, and that's the young lady from the 300-meter hurdles.
Yeah, the way she's running, I immediately remember who she was. You see her there running in motion and good rhythm there as Edcal Chelsea still has a lead, but it looked like Weslaco East is in second place right now.
Yeah, Weslaco East, as I mentioned, Judith was finishing strong as she began to make a move and handed it off to Natalie Bassan. And as you mentioned earlier, Mike, Natalie Bassan, the only senior on this club, and you know she wants to put out a good final outing as she has begun to make some moves, some headway here as she comes out the last turn and into the straightaway. Weslaco East in second place, right behind Edcal Chelsea, but it's Donna in third place. That is Lilia Acuna. Remember, she just finished the 1600, so I'm not sure how much she's got in her tank as we get set for the third handoff. And the third exchange for Edcal Chelsea is a clean one, as is for Weslaco East. And Edcal Chelsea has Alexis Ramirez. Weslaco East has Stephanie Mendoza, and Edcal Chelsea is way out in front of the pack, and they've got a good size lead, and it's a 50-meter lead for Edcal Chelsea. But a good job here by Weslaco East. Stephanie Mendoza beginning to make a little bit of room between second and third place, as she's got about a 25-meter lead for the Weslaco East relay team. But Edcal Chelsea continues to just shine here, not only in a lot of other events, but in this final event here tonight, the 4x400 meter relay. And here comes Alexis Ramirez finishing strong for Edcal Chelsea. Stephanie Mendoza opening up the lead a little bit. I said it was 25 meters a while ago. It looks like more like 30 now as she is coming down the home stretch. And she is going to hand it off to Melody Herrera for the final leg. The Edcal Chelsea team, Jasmine Mireles is the anchor leg, and I don't think anyone's going to catch her. It's safe to say right now, barring any injury or any kind of miscue, that Edcal Chelsea should finish first in this relay. But here comes Melody Herrera. She's had a great night tonight, Mike.
Yeah, look at her go there. She got the baton and she just took off there. The same thing for for Jasmine Mireles. She got the baton out of Edcal Chelsea and she just took off and separated herself. But a great run by Alexis Ramirez too. She was a third runner for Edcal Chelsea. Once she got that baton and she just took off and there was no looking back there. And it looks like Edcal Chelsea is gonna win this race.
So here comes Jasmine Mireles, and you can see her just kind of peeking out of her peripheral vision at the big screen to see if there's anyone behind her. But look at Melody Herrera for Weslaco East, Mike. She is going to finish strong. And remember, we talked about her earlier struggling in the season due to injuries, and Donna will finish third.
Yeah, this has to feel really, really good for that young lady after what she went through earlier in the year. I mean, she was out for 4 weeks, so it was a pretty serious injury. When you deal with hamstring and you're dealing with track, you got to really, really be careful with that muscle there, and they have to take good care of it. And she really, really performed strong here today, this afternoon.
So Edcal Chelsea, Weslaco East, Donna. finishing 1, 2, and 3 in the girls 4x400 meter relay. So while we've got a little bit of downtime, let's go ahead and give you the lane assignments for the final event of the evening, the boys 4x400 meter relay. In lane 1, it's going to be Brownsville Veterans Memorial. In lane 2, Mercedes. In lane 3, Brownsville Porter. Lane 4, Ed Chelsea. Lane 5, Donna. Lane 6, Brownsville Pace. Lane 7, Weslaco East. It's going to be Veterans Memorial in lane 1. Angelo Castellano, Michael Montoya, Joe Sanchez, Eros Pineda. Lane 2, Mercedes, Marquise Clower, Jordan Gomez, Gael Rivas, David Clower. Lane 3, Porter, Derek Leal, Isaí Hernandez, Derry Lozano, Chris Ortiz. Lane 4, Ed Chelsea, Elijah Trevino, Natani Collins, Donovan Martinez, Emilio Flores. Lane 5, Donna, Marcus Mata, Mark Zamorano, Javier Rodriguez, Francisco Contreras. Lane 6, Pace, Gael Perez, Edgar Rodriguez, Samuel Ramirez, Aiden Hernandez. And lane 7, Weslaco East, Evan Mascorro, Joe Lugo, Gianni Ortiz, and Jordan Posadas. Mike, Donna has some good names on there. Javier Rodriguez, Mark Zamarrano, and Francisco Contreras. We've called their names on the podium earlier. Chris Ortiz from Porter. That guy finished strong earlier today. We saw him run a good 200. And, of course, he was a gold medal winner of the open quarter, the 400. So they've got a good, strong team. But, of course, Ed Chelsea comes in with the best time of 3:36. So, again, this is setting itself up for a good race.
Yeah, I know Francisco Contreras out of Donna has had a very, very busy day there. He's going to be the anchor for Donna. And Ed Chelsea, Emilio Flores is a name we've called out a few times, along with Natani Collins there. And you mentioned Chris Ortiz, who's been a phenomenal runner for Brownsville Porter. He'll be the anchor for the Cowboys there. And while we have a few minutes, I got the results of the boys' 1,600-meter run. Fourth place was Eric Davis out of Weslaco East. In third place is Matthew Garcia out of Ed Chelsea. Second place is James Puckett out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. And your first place winner with a time of 4:32.73 is Kevin Hernandez out of Donna. So congratulations to them.
Great job there again by Kevin Hernandez. Go ahead.
And I got the results of the girls 4x400 meter relay. Fourth place is Mercedes High School. Third place is Donna High School. Second place is Weslaco East. So great job there by the relay team. And your first place winner with a time of 4:16.22 is Ed Chelsea High School. And so being that this was the last event, we have here, after 17 events, that Ed Chelsea finished with 190 points, followed by Donna High School with 122. So congratulations to the Yellow Jackets.
District champions, 32-5A. The gun is up. Gun is sounded. Good, clean start for the final event of the evening. And Donna up on top, beginning to make its way across as he's beginning to make the stagger up on a Brownsville pace. But look at Porter on the inside, Mike. They have already begun to make up the stagger on all the guys on the outside lane. And that from Porter is Derek Leal running a good, strong opening leg for Brownsville Porter. But down here in lane 7 for Weslaco East is Evan Mascorro, the gentleman who finished second earlier today. He is running a great first leg for Weslaco East. So we'll see the handoffs here. And it's going to be Weslaco East in first, as it's going to be Mascorro handing it off to Joe Lugo, another young man that we've seen throughout the year in various sports. So here we come as he makes the turn, and then they begin to make their way into lane number 1, and he cuts across very sharply, does Lugo. So it's Lugo in first for Weslaco East, and Ed Chelsea making a move, and that's Natani Collins. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that is Collins. I've got Collins listed as a number 2, but that doesn't look like him. They may have switched them around a little bit because he's been running earlier. But here comes Ed Chelsea finishing strong, and look at that young man just finish with a different gear on top of everybody else. He has really begun to separate himself, and he's got about a 15-meter lead as he hands the baton off. And Weslaco East, that young man looked like he was struggling. I hope he didn't hurt himself, Mike, because it looked like he may have had some kind of injury as he was finishing up that last 40 meters, because he was struggling to get in. So we hope that he is okay. But anyways, continuing with the race, it's Ed Cauchosa, Donna, and Weslaco East, and Brownsville Porter in fourth. Weslaco East, third leg, that is Johnny Ortiz. Donna, Javier Rodriguez. Ed Cauchosa, according to what I've got on paper, is Donovan Martinez. But look at the young man from Donna beginning to make his way, beginning to make a move on Ed Cauchosa. What we just saw Ed Cauchosa do in the first leg, Donna is doing here on the third leg. I mean, the second leg, they're doing on the third leg. So it's Donna and Ed Couch, first and second. So it's going to be a good finish, because here comes Contreras. And Ed Cauchosa, I've got Emilio Flores as the anchor. So Donna and Ed Couch, Flores and Contreras. So this is going to be a good finish, Mike. We know that both these young men have run well tonight. Weslaco East, they are going to finish with Jordan Posadas. But here they come in the last 200 meters, and there is just a half a stride difference between them. But look at Contreras on the outside. He is going to come up on the outside and take over Ed Cauchosa. And here comes Contreras for Donna. He's going to finish first place, Donna. Contreras, we saw him do that in the hurdles, and now he's doing it in the relays. So here comes Contreras finishing strong for Donna, first place. It's going to be Donna, Ed Couch, Porter, Ortiz. Look at Ortiz. Ortiz overtook 3 guys, Mike. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah, great job there by Brownsville Porter. I actually was watching it in the last, I would say about the 200-meter mark is where I saw the young man from Porter surpass the other runner and took over third place. But congratulations to Donna High School, and what a great run by Francisco Contreras. And I tell you what, Joe, the awesome thing about the 4x400-meter relay is that we have lead changes galore. I mean, we had about 2 or 3 lead changes in this race. We thought Ed Cauchosa was going to domastate the race, and then we see, well, Weslaco got off to a really good start, if you remember.
Right.
Starting with the young man,
Evan Mascoro.
Evan Mascoro, yeah, did a great start after that first lap, and then we just saw Ed Cauchosa take over in the middle of the race, but it was Donna High School who just finished, who's just too strong.
Yeah, Donna's third leg, Javier Rodriguez, what I've got on paper is Javier Rodriguez, because he did a great job catching up and almost surpassing the young man from Ed Cauchosa. But that second leg for Ed Cauchosa, that guy began to take off and really open up the lead. And it wasn't Collins, because we saw Collins run earlier, but they may have substituted him because, again, you know, you mentioned this earlier. Some of these kids are running quite a bit tonight. And so you want to get some fresh legs in there. You want to give yourself a chance to finish. And again, you know, we saw Weslaco East. The young man from Weslaco East looked like he may have pulled something or something may have twisted, because he had a hard time finishing the last 40 meters.
Yeah, that makes a difference there in the middle of the race. So you try to run as clean as possible, but unfortunately sometimes those little things happen, and that's just how it goes. And we see the top finishers there for and this was, I think, the 4x400 on the girls' side there. And we see Ed Cauchosa won first, and then Donna in third, and then Weslaco East in second. But overall, a great race overall. And we're just being handed the results of the boys 4x400 meters.
But
there.
before you give that results, Mike, why don't we recap the girls' point total?
Okay. Yes, as we mentioned earlier, Ed Cauchosa finished with 190 points. After the 4x400 meter relay, we have Ed Cauchosa with 190 points, followed by Donna with 122 points. And Mercedes High School finished with 85 points. And in fourth place was Brownsville Lopez with 63 points.
So we want to congratulate the Weslaco East on their second place finish in the 4x4. They just got off the podium. And, of course, the girls on top of the podium, the Ed Couch Elsa girls track team, not only did they finish gold in the 4x400-meter relay, they also finished as district champions overall.
And now I have the boys 4x400-meter relay, the results. Fourth place was a Weslaco East. So despite the injury that we might have come across in the middle of the race, they still qualify for area. So
yeah,
great job.
They finished strong. Like I said, the young man, the last 40 meters, I couldn't tell what exactly happened, but either he pulled something, he might have gotten stepped on, or he might have twisted something. But regardless of what happened, he still had enough to finish.
Yeah. So great job. They finished with a time of 3:44.47.
Not bad.
So not bad. And then in third place was Brownsville Porter with a time of 3:39.92. Second place is Ed Couch Elsa. First place with a time of 3:35.66 is Donna High School. And for the overall point system, Donna High School finished with 152 points. They're going to be your district champs as you see them make their way to the podium and grab the trophy. And Mercedes finished in second place. They were the defending champs coming into today with 106 points. And in third place was Ed Couch Elsa with 94 points. In fourth place, Joe, Weslaco East. Coach Owens has to be very pleased with the results of this. 74 points. And so big improvement from last year. And
yes.
He was very excited because like the girls' side, the boys' side is really young. And so, they have a lot to look forward to moving forward.
Mike, we talk about, you mentioned this earlier, that, this is the last race. They're going to leave everything on. That relay team, look at Contreras. I talked about, I thought maybe he might have an injury because he had a lot of tape on him. But I think right now he's just really having a hard time catching his breath because, this young man ran the 300 hurdles just a little while ago and then had to come back and run 400 meters at full speed because they were not only in second place, but he wanted to come out first. So he's trying to stretch everything out there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these athletes, I'm sure, are very, very exhausted. It's been a long few days, actually, because they had to also participate in the prelims and qualify for the finals.
And some of them in the field events, too.
Exactly. It was hot earlier in the week, so it's been a tough week. But, you just got to tip your hat off to all the athletes overall there.
Yeah, you see how he has tape on his leg, Mike? That yellow.
The yellow portion of it, yes.
Yeah, see, that's what I saw earlier on the hurdles when you were talking about, how you saw him maybe a little off. And I said, well, he's got some tape there. So, we don't know the coaches and we don't, we didn't get a chance to interview or anything like that. But, there's something there. But even if it is there, if there is something there, you got to just tip your hat to that young man.
Yeah. And, I mean, look at how well he did. I mean, finishing, with 3 gold medals, I think it was. And so, yeah, I mean, regardless of what obstacles he had, he still performed at a high level. And those are the kind of athletes that set an example. No excuses. No excuses. No matter what, you got to go out there and perform. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you, and he did it.
Yeah,
he did it.
That is for sure. And so go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and he's a big reason why the Redskins were able to capture this district championship. And it's also worth mentioning, Joe, that this will be the last time that we see the schools here because they're going to move on to area, which will take place at PSJA April 20th.
Yeah, that is for sure. So we want to. Again, just say thank you to all the KWES personnel that is here. They did a really good job in producing this program for y'all today. And we just want to congratulate once again the girls 32-5A district champions, the Ed Couch Elsa Yellow Jackets, and the boys 32-5A district champions, the Donna Redskins. So that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank Mike Gonzalez for joining me here in studio as we brought you the 32-5A district track and field program from Texas National Bank Field at Bobby Lackey Stadium. So once again, congratulations, Ed Couch Elsa, as they won the girls district title, and Donna as they won the boys district title. We'll see you next time right here on KWES.